This is the Morning Rush with RIchardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McClarty-Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
What an absolutely perfect open as we get going here on a Too Stupid Thursday. It is probably stupid that at 29 years old, I have not seen the Blues Brothers. And as Tommy said yesterday, it's not one of the best movies of all time by any stretch of the imagination, but it's probably one as a sports radio host that I need to consume. I won't be able to this weekend. Going to be in Nashville, Tennessee for CMA Fest. Would much rather be in Fayetteville, Arkansas for the Super Regional. We know how it went, though, last weekend in Fayetteville. I do have a few stupid stories to share with you this morning. We got some news from yesterday on the Arkansas basketball side of things, plus the college football playoff schedule is out, which I'm excited about. And, Tommy, I guess we're 85 days out from Arkansas football on August the 29th.
You said 86 yesterday, so I think it's 85, but we still got 3 months to go, basically. Maybe just inside of it. But, yeah, and Arkansas is a little early compared to a lot. We get a couple of days head start.
Arkansas' schedule is perfect. No one cares about the UAPB game. Wake me up when they go to Stillwater the following Saturday, and you get to watch the actual good, meaty college football games all day. We get rid of our game on Thursday night, and then we move on to the real stuff on Saturday.
I'll say this. Had my first ticket request for football season yesterday. First person said, hey, if you UAB, September 14th.
I guess that's family weekend. Yeah, first game of the season in Fayetteville.
You know the schedule, that had a lot to do with it as well. So, all right, that's where we begin this morning. We're brought to you by the famous Yum Dinger. They make them in 3, 4, 5, and 6-inch sizes in the Pradco plant right here in Arkansas. It's the probably the world's most famous lure that can help you catch those largemouth bass that are spawning right now, or coming off the spawn, I should say. Put it on
Thursday. But, Tommy, during job interviews recently, listen to these 6 things that employers say they've had to deal with recent college graduates. They struggle with eye contact. That's over 50%. They ask for unreasonable compensation, 50%. Now, those sometimes when you're nervous in a situation, or maybe you have a high inflated opinion of yourself, I get. The dressed inappropriately, which is nearly 50%, that's a no-no. Like, you overdress for interviews, I think. You never underdress, you overdress. Now, here are the interesting ones. The inappropriate language at 27%. This is just odd to me. The refusal to turn on your camera during a virtual interview. I think that knocks you out completely, in my opinion. Then here's the kicker. You ready for this one, y'all? 19% of employers said that they brought their parent to an interview. Think about that. 19%. Nearly 1 in 5 candidates of the 800 employers surveyed said that this prospect brought their parent to an interview. Now, I would struggle, of these 6, I would struggle with the inappropriate language. I think that's commonly known. Somehow, some way, I make it from 6 to 9 each and every morning without saying words that are not supposed to be said on air. But I had never thought bringing Baylor Brad or my stepmom to our interview, 6 years coming up next July. I mean, that was, I read that and I was like, there's no way this is possible. But then I think about it and it's like, that's actually conceivable that kids these days would do that.
Yeah, I guess, the older generation's always going to bang on the younger generation. I think that's just how it is and has been for for decades. But I think the reality is a lot of things on that list, and the things we point fun at, how they want to walk in and be the CEO day one. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they do their homework. That's the problem with the 20-somethings. You don't do your homework for the job that's ahead of you. What should the salary be? What is the appropriate dress? I think we've watered, here, I'm going to go sounding like an old man. We've watered down the education process and the schooling to the point where we're not making people prepare for stuff the way they should. Maybe some of that comes with maturity and age. I don't know, but, should you do a little research, do a little homework, maybe ask some questions of someone you might know at a place, ask someone in the industry. I mean, you should know something about the industry if you're interviewing. What is comparable entry level pay? Yeah, it's the lack of research, Ty. That's the problem.
Jamie May texted on the McClarty Daniel hotline saying it's more on the parent wanting to oversee than the kid wanting the parent to be there. I'm going to be honest.
I wouldn't disagree with all that.
I took my dad's advice prior to every interview. I mean, I asked my dad about everything, the house process that I'm going through right now, anything to do with financials, anything to do with job stuff. I mean, he's the first call. And not that I don't ask other people opinions, because I think you're dumb if you don't ask others' opinions. But I never in my wildest dreams thought, you know what would make Tommy Kraft hire me? If I brought my dad to the interview, that would really nail it. And you can, listen, I know at 22 years old, you still have a high respect for your parents. And I think it grows with age as you get into your more adult life. But you got to be able to tell your parents, no, you're not coming to this. Like if it's more like them pushing it, you'd be like, you know what, I love you. You've helped me for 22 years of my life or whatever it is. But you're not coming to this. This has to be me. I'm a grown man. I'm a grown woman. It stops here. Like we can't do this. You can't baby me anymore.
Yeah. Well, I've never encountered that. I mean,
thank goodness.
I've had parents come to the workplace after they've been hired, which is
that's normal.
Perfectly fine. In fact, I welcome that. I've met your dad. I mean, but I think you're right. Now, I've never encountered that, but I think that is becoming probably commonplace, and I think there is probably some willingness on the parental side to coddle.
That's how it happens. All right, that's where we start here on a Too Stupid Thursday. That
is pretty stupid, though.
Yeah, I would think it's pretty stupid. And like you said, it's kind of stupid.
Let's smarten this conversation up quickly.
It's kind of, like you said, dumb on the parents' part. But we got plenty of sports to talk about. We just got a text here from Robert and Conway on the McCarty Daniel hotline. I've seen a lot of reports about J.J. Redick being hired by the Los Angeles Lakers, but ESPN apparently is reporting that not Danny Hurley, but Bobby Hurley is being targeted by the Lakers. He's turned down reportedly a college job or two, like Kentucky. I wonder if the Los Angeles Lakers and coaching LeBron James would give him interest. I don't think his coaching style would mesh in the NBA, but who knows? We'll talk about that and a lot more coming up here, Dommy, on a Too Stupid Thursday.
All right, got that to get to, and then also we'll talk with Chuck coming up in just a little bit. Brought to you by the Fence Man, the company we trust with anything involving a fence, gates, powered automatic gates, anything you need involving a fence. Or if you've been through the storms recently and now it's time to get to the fence part of fixing that up, or your insurance claim has come through and you got to find a fencing contractor, call the Fence Man, 782-3936, high-quality fencing, fence repairs. If you had wind knock down some sections or you need an entire new fence, 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
All right, we got a lot to get to here on the Morning Rush. If you want to jump in on the McCarty Daniel hotline, you can do so throughout the morning. Chuck's going to join us, and again, some good Arkansas basketball news that we can discuss as we continue on here on ESPN Arkansas.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
Hey everybody, this is Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio, and you are listening to The Morning Rush. This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
This is the Morning Rush.
Great to be on here with you guys. I think you guys do awesome work, and I really enjoy listening to you.
Summer is finally here. Come check out Kofer's Boat Center's huge selection of boats with the best incentives in years. Kofer's experienced professionals will answer all your boating questions, and their award-winning customer service with Mercury, Malibu, Lowe, Camus, and Garmin will keep your boat in peak condition. Kofer's also has a fully stocked pro shop and updated RV and boat storage facilities. Find Kofer's online at Kofers.com. That's Kophers.com. Kofer's Boat Center, your authorized Mercury dealer, helping their customers create a lifetime of memories for over 50 years.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Hi, Jim Cash, fourth generation jeweler and owner of the Diamond Center. I'm excited to announce our second annual Kiss and Tell event, and we would love to see you. I will be in store for 2 days, Friday and Saturday, June 7th and 8th, to negotiate every piece of jewelry. This event is special because this is the best pricing of the year and all still backed by our free lifetime warranty. Come and make me an offer during these 2 days only for our Kiss and Tell event here at the Diamond Center. Visit us before for more details. Again, those dates are Friday and Saturday, June 7th and 8th at the Diamond Center, a legacy of love.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
Hey, Wits.
Billy, hay is for horses. Are my ears that long?
Oh, you got me again. I'm gonna order a large Boss Hog pizza for fishing tomorrow.
That's a lot of food. You taking a friend?
No, sir. I'm gonna use it as bait.
Pizza as bait for fishing?
Yes'm. The catfish love 'em. Some Jim's Razorback pizza.
They do?
Yes'm. They chase the bacon faster than green grass through a goose.
Bacon? Never would have thunk it.
Yup. And they come right to the river's edge when I call them too. Woo! Fish suey!
Oh, blessed Billy. All right, son. Have fun fishing.
Jim's Razorback Pizza. Blessed to serve you. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Wits Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Wits Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
You know, Ty, you know how much I love to mock your opinions, but I actually think you're right.
The set, the 3-1. Swung on, hit in the air, deep by Hudson White to left field. There it goes, way out of here. Hudson White, second of the season.
Subscribe to the Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, and share.
We got Daniel Gafford in action tonight. The Boston Celtics hosting the Dallas Mavericks, 7:30 on ABC. Now, Daniel's journey this season, and really since he started his NBA career, has been an interesting one. And he talked about it a little bit. I want to share some of the things he had to say as we look forward to, either way, Tommy, the Arkansas Razorback walking away as an NBA champion after these finals.
Yeah, and that's probably something a lot of Razorback fans can sink our teeth into since there's no college baseball. Maybe that's the reason you download the Oaklawn Sports app for the first time tonight. With Oaklawn Sports, there's always a season, including the NBA Finals, Major League Baseball, the wrap-up of college baseball going on. Even, we're going to talk some college football news throughout the morning. There's early lines on Razorback games and others. Sign up now with Oaklawn Sports and qualify for second chance insurance on your first bet up to $250. Okay, here's how it works. You create your Oaklawn Sports account after you've downloaded the app to your phone. Make your deposit, and they make it easy with your debit or credit card, PayPal, Apple Pay, Venmo, ACH. If you're at Oaklawn, you can just hand them good old American cash while it still works and give that to them, and they'll put that in your account. Or withdraw with the same way. So set up your account, get some money in there, make a first bet of anywhere from $10 to $250. And, hey, if, you just didn't get on the right side of it in that very first bet, you're automatically enrolled for up to $250 for a bonus bet if that first bet doesn't work out. It's one way to welcome you at Oaklawn Sports. Be sure and check it out. Arkansas's best sports betting app. Bet with the brand you trust anywhere in Arkansas. Bet with Oaklawn Sports.
So let's go back to February the 8th when Daniel Gafford was traded. It was interesting to hear him on NBA TV talk about maybe just the emotions of that day and that process.
When I got traded, we were actually headed Tier 2 play ball. So, I got to the practice facility. Will Dawkins, he called me, said, there's a possibility you'll be going to Dallas. I said, okay, just let me know. I sat in the parking lot for 30 minutes. He called me, said, you're getting traded to Dallas. I was like, okay. It was a bit of a... I would say when it comes to the emotions, when it comes to getting traded, you can be mad, you can be happy. I would say I didn't really have a crazy reaction to it, because I've been in this situation before. So I just took this as, a point, just one door closed, another door open for me. So it was another opportunity just for me to just kind of progress throughout my career.
Think about the situation he found himself in on the Washington Wizards, where he was scoring okay, rebounding okay, but not on a contender. Turn it over, and finds themselves on the Mavericks. Well, albeit wasn't exactly the prime team in the Western Conference. No one expected, at least not a lot of people expected, Dallas to come out of the West, yet through Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, they've been fantastic, and both of them have been very complimentary of Daniel throughout these playoffs. It is cool to watch, Tommy, someone that's put in the work like Daniel has, be rewarded, because sometimes, again, we've talked about this with football players a lot more in basketball. Sometimes you just get dealt a bad hand. It doesn't matter how good you are. You're not a good organization. You're not a good management. The Mavs are much better situation than Washington, and now Daniel's on the brink of winning his first NBA championship.
Well, and Boston won't be easy, but when I hear Daniel talk there about the trade process, I think a lot of sports fans just go for, hey, who's your new teammates going to be? Who's the coach going to be? And, those are certainly first thoughts. But I think about you get traded in sports, there's a lot more to it. You got to, move. And I don't know Daniel's family situation, if he's married and children and those things. But even if you're single and, footloose and fancy free, you think about moving basically across the country. What would have been Washington, D.C. to Dallas. Yeah. I mean, there's just a lot. There's just a lot more to it than, hey, I'm playing on a new team now. And, I think we forget about all the other real-life stuff. Like these guys have homes, and they got cars and vehicles and, their possessions and everything to deal with. There's a lot more to it than just learning a new offense or the signals for a new defense or whatever a play call means.
And he's still a young guy. I mean, he's 25 years old. He's got a lot of tread on those tires when it comes to the NBA, and it would be cool to see him win this early on in his career, as it would be for Luka Doncic, who's one of the best international players that's currently in the NBA right now. Kyrie Irving could get his second ring. He's got the dynamic of going back to Boston. Boston fans are brutal. And you think about, I mean, I've heard various NBA players, whether it's Jerry West, Gail Goodrich, Magic Johnson, James Worthy, Byron Scott. I mean, you just go down the list of Lakers that have talked about Boston fans. They are horrific. So he is going to get as much pushback as a visiting player has this season when he steps foot in TD Garden later on tonight.
Yeah, but you're playing one of the, the Mavericks, they're in a premier market, but they're not a premier franchise like the Celtics. So, I mean, I think there's a little more, cachet or a bonus, if you will, if you beat the Celtics or the Lakers or, a franchise of that nature versus, anyone else maybe in the league besides those two.
They have the dynamic of that, like, old age and new age. Like, Los Angeles and Boston have both won championships and been in championships in the last decade or so. Boston in, I guess, 2010, and they were there 2 years ago against the Warriors. Lakers won, I guess, the COVID NBA Finals. But I mentioned some names on the Celtics side. You think about Havlicek and Russell and Bird and McHale and everyone else. What I think is intriguing about this Celtics team is this a squad that can go on a dynasty run? There's basically two dynasties in Celtics history and lore. You've had some championships like in 2010 and 74, but you had Russell and his guys. They won, I think, 6 or 7 straight. And then Bird, McHale, Dennis Johnson, Archibald, Cornbread, all those guys, they won 81, 84, and 87. So like 3 in less than a decade. I don't know if this Celtics team has what it takes, but it will be interesting to see if this young core of Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, if they can be one of those teams that are repeatedly in the finals. Not just the Eastern Conference Finals like they've been, I think, 5 or the last 6 years, but in the finals year after year.
But let's talk about Daniel Gafford and his team. And you watch a lot more NBA, and Chuck watches probably more than us put together. But are the Mavericks in a place with a young Thunder team just kind of up the road in a Western Conference that I think is a little more for the taking than the Eastern? Can the Mavericks become for a window here a team that's to be reckoned with? I mean, the Nuggets, the T-Wolves, the Thunder. I mean, I think all these teams have an opportunity now that the Warriors have taken a step back.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. The Warriors dynasty's dead. And anytime you have two of the best closers in the game, in Irving and Doncic, you have a chance. And we've seen it, unfortunately, to my Oklahoma City Thunder and to various other teams throughout the playoffs, Tommy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll be interested to see, there's someone else that should be on that list. Let me know, but I'll be interested to see who maybe can step up and maybe put a hand on that as we move forward. Hey, we're brought to you by Joe's Grill and Cantina. It's Throwback Thursday at Joe's. They'll have, check their Facebook page a little bit later this morning. They'll have one of those Tex-Mex platters that made them famous from Cuco's back in the day on special today. Tomorrow will be Fajita Friday. Steak or chicken fajitas, brisket fajitas have become my favorite. They got a variety of them. They're all on special every Friday. Then Saturday is endless enchiladas. All the enchiladas you want, bunch of sides, $15 at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street in Fort Smith. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. They're right across from Harps. It's Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas from tuning.
This is Austin Allen, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
It's spring cleaning sale time at Jelco Outdoors. Savings from 50 to 75% off on select clothing, footwear, hunting and fishing equipment, casual clothing, hunting clothing, work clothing for men, women, and children, work boots, safety shoes, western boots, all 50 to 75% off. Rods, reels, baits, hunting equipment, all 50 to 75% off. Select group of handguns, rifles, and shotguns in the firearms department at cost or below. Don't miss the big spring cleaning sale at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, and we need your trade. This month, the trade-in acquisition event continues with up to 27% bonus cash on your trade on any one of our road-ready certified used cars with warranty. You can't buy a better used car, and you can't pick a better time than right now. Up to 27% bonus cash for your trade. Another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixings. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Summer camp, vacation, travel baseball, repeat. Family reunion, lake time, I'm beat. A parent in the summertime is a glorified chauffeur, but if you find yourself in a fender bender, you'll need a good lawyer. I'm Jackie Mock. With 12 years of experience in insurance and car wreck cases, I can help get you back on the road for more summer fun. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Now we will share a lifetime of the fondest memories.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Riley Farm Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
There was no leadoff hitter on this team this year. All year long, it was who's going to hit leadoff. This team was filled with home run hitters. With one or two exceptions, every guy that came to the plate was thinking long ball. Power hitters generally have lower batting averages. I think that's why their team batting average was so low, is because they had a lineup of guys trying to hit home runs.
And we welcome you back into the Morning Rush here on ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com, and a brand new Hit That Line Now app. We got some basketball. We talked some baseball this week. I think that's going to subside even with the Super Regionals this weekend. I do at some point this morning want to discuss how dominant Oklahoma softball has been, and they're embarking on their 4th straight championship tonight. But we'll start with basketball here with Chuck as we get going on a Too Stupid Thursday.
You know, we were talking about schedules and football and different stuff, and I think people are even looking forward to seeing the basketball schedule when it comes out. If you're thinking about weekends for football, we were talking earlier, I had someone ask for tickets to the first football ticket request I had for the season was yesterday. Start planning your weekends, and that means where do you stay? The Inn at the Mill is where we always choose because of the location, because of the quality of the rooms, the friendliness of the staff. It's all there in one place at the Inn at the Mill. 479-443-1800. I called there yesterday needing a room for next weekend for Ruskin's wedding. And, I mean, bing, bang, boom, I was on the phone with Jen, and she had it all set up. And I was, under a minute. And we spent half that time just chit-chatting.
Did you give me one?
I did not. Are you going?
I told Derek.
Have you bought a big gift yet? Have you went and got on the registry and found something extravagant to buy the Ruskins?
I'll text Derek next week.
Yeah, the wedding's next week too, big guy. All right, so make sure you get your reservation at the Inn at the Mill. Always the place to stay, close to everything that you want to do. The Amp, Crystal Bridges. I went to a concert last night. I'm in Kansas City this morning at a very nice place. You probably got some. Dierks Bentley's going to be up there this weekend. They got a lot of cool stuff coming to the Amp right now. 443-1800 is their number. 443-1800 for the Inn at the Mill or online at inatthemill.com.
Chuck, it is drive-in movie day. How often did you used to fog up those windows back in the day, man?
Well, I tried a lot, but I don't know how many times I actually fogged them up. But, I did the drive-in back in the day.
Yeah, it was kind of like, you were batting against Hagen Smith. There were a lot of strikeouts in that area.
Oh, yeah. I was a total dork, believe me. But, I missed the drive-in. That's right. That's exactly right. No, there was a drive-in in my hometown, and went there quite a bit. And, I went to the 112 when I was a young, in college, and then, as a young adult, and sad to see it go when it went, but it was, it was great.
That was one disappointing aspect of my college. I never did that once. I think I went. There was a place in Central Arkansas. I actually remember that we went as a family one time, but I did miss out on the fogging windows, unfortunately, Tommy.
I'm 48, and I've never been to a drive-in movie. They had one on Midland in Fort Smith. And if it was operable, it was when I was a young kid. But that was the drive-in theater in Fort Smith. And then I remember the 112. I never went to it. I think the two that are left is Poto, Oklahoma, and then Marshall, Arkansas. And I think one of those maybe Marshall's inoperable, but Marshall, Arkansas had one still recently, and Poto still has one. So those are the last two I know of.
Go to Poto. Drive over to Poto. It's easy.
I don't want to go by myself. I'll have to find a young lady to go with. I will say movie theaters.
Yeah, that's probably, you don't want to go by yourself.
Yeah, let's look a little weird.
That sends a bad message.
Movie theaters are going by the wayside, I will say.
What's beyond a red flag, Chuck? I'm not sure what it would be, but that would be more than just a red flag.
That's a double red flag.
On top of.
Do not get in the water.
On top of all of them. Well, Chuck, we were talking before you came on, big night for Daniel Gafford, but one of the interesting NBA storylines right now, and I misspoke earlier. I get Bobby and Danny mixed up. Bobby played at Duke, Arizona State right now. It's got a good recruiting class. The Lakers, according to ESPN, are targeting Danny Hurley, UConn head coach, back-to-back national.
ESPN's reporting that?
Yeah, which I found Like, I don't think
that's interesting.
Y'all help me on this. Like, his college style works. It's rare that he can coach the way he does and it still work with the players that he's managed to get the most out of. I don't see his style working at all at the next level. Am I off base on that?
Well, I don't know if you are or not, but that doesn't matter. The Lakers are one of those jobs that you don't turn down. I don't know if they are seriously pursuing him or not. I mean, obviously the report says that they are. Mm-hmm. If that report's accurate, if, for example, they offer Danny Hurley the job, he will take it.
It's Wojnarowski reporting it, I believe. So
but now that doesn't necessarily mean they've offered him the job. Pursuing can mean a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. And pursuing's one of those terms that, you can take it one way and it might mean something else. But if they offer him the job, he will take it. There are certain jobs in sports that transcend your personnel, that transcend the outlook for next year, that transcend everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lakers are one of those jobs.
And we go to the home of the Yellow Jackets, where I think that's what's Clinton's mascot, Tommy? Isn't it Clinton Yellow? Yeah. All right. That's what I thought. Where Jason is this morning. Jason, you wanted to comment on this Dan Hurley news, possibly?
Yes. Y'all beat me to it. I was just going to call and let y'all know what I heard this morning. But I did hear that there is contract negotiations and they're speaking about it. So it's looking like it's going to happen is what I've heard. The ESPN show this morning before y'all, they broke it.
Yeah, I heard that right before we came on the air. So, and I just wonder that,
Thanks, Jason.
Jason getting one thing, getting the cart in front of the horse, okay, UConn has an opening at a very late date. What kind of ripple, Chuck, would this send through college basketball?
I don't know. They're that's one of those programs that Jim Calhoun still looms large over. And my guess would be whoever Jim Calhoun thinks should be the next coach if Dan Hurley were to leave. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know a lot about their program, just to be honest, in terms of who they might target. When you look at what UConn's done over the years, they've hired Northeastern guys. I mean, Dan Hurley's a Northeastern guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, he understands that terrain and understands the people and knows how to talk to the fans and the media. And, we played up there one year, and I'm just going to tell you, it's a different place. It's a long way from Arkansas. Yeah. It's a long – well, we played in Hartford.
Okay.
But Connecticut's a long way from Arkansas. The Northeast is very, very different from many parts of the country. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Just every part of the country is different. That's why Brett Bielema couldn't succeed in the South. Every part of the country is different. So I don't know who they would pursue. I just have no idea. But I've wondered why the Lakers didn't move right away on J.J. Redick. It seemed like, he was the obvious choice from the get-go. But for whatever reason, maybe this is the reason, it's just not happened. And so as each day's gone on, and I don't, I'm not a big NBA rabid guy, but it did kind of make you wonder why they were so slow in pulling the trigger on him.
Yeah, I joked yesterday, kind of half joking, half serious. LeBron should just be a player coach. When's the last time we had someone that was a player coach? Not a former player, but actually played on the roster and coached at the same time.
Bill Russell, and that might be too far, but that was the one that came to mind.
Pete Rose,
it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Well, but my point is, he's got both hands on the wheel with the Lakers.
He's a coach killer. And Redick is his podcast buddy, and Ryan texted and thinks it was a smokescreen all along. We'll see what actually plays out, but that's not going to work. The dynamic that and listen, I understand the ideology. If you want your coach to have a good relationship with the best player, i.e. Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan, i.e. Phil Jackson, Kobe Bryant, Greg Popovich, Tim Duncan, like those make sense. But when they've done a podcast about it and there's going to be preferential treatment, guys, I don't think that's going to work if it plays out like that.
There's always going to be preferential treatment for LeBron, whether you've done a podcast with him or not. They're in a catch-22 with LeBron right now. You're not going to win an NBA championship with LeBron being the cornerstone of what you're doing on the floor. we can argue about whether LeBron's the greatest player of all time, and those who believe he is can make a very strong case, and I'm not even going to get into that. But he's not now what he was then. And the idea that you are going to latch on to a 38 or 39-year-old LeBron James and ride your way to the NBA championship, that's not realistic. And they've got some supporting cast issues there. And I don't know exactly, I'm not a big Lakers fan, but I know that LeBron can't do what LeBron once did.
Yep.
And so none of us can, as you age. And so they're in a catch-22 there. And they're going to have to draft Bronny or at least sign him. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to do it because LeBron's going to make them. So they're kind of in a spot right now where they 2 or 3 years from now, they'll probably be better off as a franchise. And that's no disrespect to arguably the greatest player that's ever played the game. Even though I know it sounds disrespectful, I think he's past his prime. And if they draft Bronny and give him a spot on that roster, they're not doing that because they're trying to get to the NBA Finals.
What the Lakers need is Cleveland to bail him out and bring him home for a year or two to close his career. There's been some mumblings of that. I don't know if that will happen, but I think they would welcome him with open arms because it would be their son coming back home.
They won't do it, but they need to do what the Cowboys did with Herschel Walker years ago and rebuild that franchise on everything they can get for him. They're not going to do it. Mm-hmm. But as great as he is, that's holding them back right now.
Yeah. Let's stay on basketball, but let's come back here to Fayetteville with what's going on with our program. Trevon Brazil, Chuck, we haven't necessarily gotten your thoughts since this went down. This was, I think, surprising to some. Some people thought it might happen. Announced, re-energized, he's back. Refocused. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
I was a little surprised, only because lots of times when a new coach comes in, it's out with the old and in with the new. And lots of coaches do it that way. And I didn't know exactly what this approach would be, to be perfectly honest. And look, Trevon Brazil's a terrific player. We've not been able to see him at his best consistently, at least for very long.
Yeah.
He's not been on the floor enough to be coached hard. I'm not going to sit here and say that Muss didn't coach him hard. Muss coached everybody hard. But when a guy's unavailable to be on the practice floor, it's hard to coach him hard. Difficult to coach him hard. And you need him out there. I don't know where he fits into the pecking order. I don't know. That'll all sort itself out. He'll sort it out with the other players on the floor, and they are ultimately the ones who will decide. But I'm glad he's back. I think it's terrific.
Tommy made a great point yesterday with the change of talent that you're going to see in practice. Not like we know how last year teams played out. Not that they weren't necessarily individually talented in some cases. They just didn't mesh. I think that's going to be beneficial for Trevon. I mean, Tommy, you pointed this out, going up against Big Z, going up against Jonas Adu, going up against Thiero.
It will.
And that hopefully.
But the first order of business is being out there.
Yeah,
well, that's the first order of business. You got to be available.
And on that subject, so we know he tore his ACL 2 years ago. We know he was hampered last year. You should also remember, I think it was the first 8 games in Columbia his freshman year that he missed. So he's been injured every year, unfortunately, of his college career.
See, I think you're touching on something there that's important because I don't think at any point last year did we see a Trevon Brazil that was anywhere close to being 100%.
Yep.
There was at no point. No,
the best we've ever seen him, I guess, was probably in Hawaii, and that stretch when he made some fantastic athletic plays, and clearly the reason he's back, first and foremost, is because the NBA didn't give him the grade and the report he needed to move forward with his draft and his place in that draft. There wasn't a place for him, so I'm of the belief, Chuck, that yes, he could go other places and probably garner more minutes than maybe he'll get at Arkansas. But the quality of the competition and the practices that are coming under John Calipari will do nothing from a Trevon Brazil standpoint, but make him a better player. Playing with better players is going to get him more NBA ready than any other situation he could be in college basketball.
It's no question, and it will help him a lot. And look, he got a little bit of a reality check. There's a long way to go.
Yep.
Not to say he won't get there, but there's a long way to go for all of them. There's a longer way to go than they think. And, yes, he'll benefit from all of that.
And I think for each player on this roster, not just a guy like Trevon, but the 3 freshmen coming in, the 3 Kentucky players, and then Adu and Davis, just kind of what they envision their roles being, which I'm going to find interesting, to just how they adjust. So you've got 3 Kentucky players. You've got 1, I guess, returning Arkansas guy, which we didn't think there was going to be any, to be honest, but I guess you have 1 coming back. And then you have, it's a good mix, right? And how Cal, we've got some tough competition that awaits the Razorbacks in non-conference play. We've mentioned them going to New York to play that game. We've talked about the ACC. I think it's going to be Duke. So I think there's the possibility of Duke being on your schedule, Michigan being on your schedule, maybe still a home and home that's out there that hasn't been mentioned. So they're going to get tested early. They'll probably, I'm not going to sit here until they're going to win all those games. So it'll be curious to see what the team looks like at the beginning of the year and their roles then versus in the back end of conference play.
Well, I think one thing we know is that 8 or 9 guys are going to play, and that's going to be it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we know that. Roles will be defined as we go along, and 9 may turn into 8, and 8 may turn into 7. You just never know. But I was looking at a stat. Mike Kaywood put it together. He's really good. All 4 of the Final 4 teams last year, none of them had more than 8 players that averaged 10 minutes. All of the 1 and 2 seeds in all the regionals, none of them had more than 8 players that averaged 10 minutes. 7 of the Elite 8 teams only had 8 players that averaged 10 minutes or more. And I think North Carolina and Duke had 7. So we know there's not going to be that many guys play. But you're right about roles being defined among the ones that do.
Yeah, and I'd love to know the average age of some of those teams. How many players they had north of 22 years old, because that's becoming more and more of a factor is the physical age. I know that with COVID we've messed up what year they're in, and a guy may be a junior, but he's 23. So I think the actual age of these rosters have probably went up a year and a half, maybe 2 years, Chuck.
Well, you think about it, we said during COVID, there's going to be some things that don't ever go back. I think basketball players, 22, 23, 24 years old, football players, baseball players, I think that's one of those things that's never going back. Particularly now with, NIL as we see it today and revenue sharing that's coming. What's going to end up happening is when a guy stops playing college sports, he's essentially getting fired.
Yeah. So.
Because his income's going away.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, we're brought to you by APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group. They have immediate openings in Northwest Arkansas, also in North Central Arkansas, particularly looking for licensed CDL drivers, heavy equipment operators. Guys, if you're listening, you got experience with paving or concrete labor or experience at a quarry, they've got jobs today that they can that help show you the path to a career at APAC. They offer top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits that include insurance, retirement, and profit sharing as well. Here's the address where you need to go, jobs.crh.com. You'll see an interactive map there with opportunities across their country or across the country with their company. That's jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group, they are equal opportunity employers.
So we got some college football news yesterday. Do you guys have your lazy boy ready? They're good to go?
Always in my lazy boy.
All right, good. Because from basically December 19th to January 20th, we're almost going to have football every single day. Now, it's going to be a combination of NFL and college football. But the first round games are coming this year. We know that on both ESPN and TNT and ABC2. Saturday to December the 21st and Friday too. Guys, I am looking forward to those college football games. But Tommy, when you look at this schedule, when you have games like that Saturday I referenced on December the 21st, not only do you have 3 of those college football games, but you also have the Texans and the Chiefs, which is going to be an awesome game. You got Stroud going to Arrowhead with his new weapon, Stephon Diggs, and then a great rivalry in the Steelers and the Ravens. So this is going to be an awesome stretch, particularly that Saturday where you typically don't have both games, or I should say meaningful games in college football.
Yeah, and you mentioned the NFL angle, time of day, placement. Obviously, the networks we kind of got figured out. How does all this come together? And I think everyone expects the NFL to win. It may be a bloodbath, but is college football going to keep the gloves up? I think college football will have more success than maybe people realize. These games that are at the end of the NFL season, I'm not saying they're not meaningful games because there's going to be playoff spots on the line, but they're not playoff games yet, Ty. So I think college football will do a much better job than some perceive. They'll do again the ratings against the NFL in those late December games.
I think it's going to be kind of an intriguing story. Not the biggest, of course, but it's cool to have them like paralleled all day. And there's going to have to be some decisions. Now, in our market, unless you're a Giant, and we'll have a lot of Chiefs fans that will defer to the Chiefs rather than watch college football that day. I don't know. We'll have some. I would say Steelers are probably the second most impactful team on that 21st, but I just don't know. Like, if you have to choose, like, which one are you going to choose? Are you going to choose your NFL fandom, or are you going to choose what we perceive to be a good college football game, Chuck?
I think you've also got to look at the kickoff times and look at where the NFL game's going to be in terms of when the college game's going to end. If I looked at it right, and I don't have it right in front of me, but if I looked at it correctly, the NFL game, the first one, they're going to be in the second quarter, third quarter, I think, when the first college football game's in its fourth quarter. I think the second college football game's going to end right about the start of the fourth quarter of the second NFL game. So I think the numbers will be great for both of them. I think that they have, and they being the way they rate it and the way the television companies perceive the ratings. They're going to break this down into all kinds of shares and hours and all kinds of things. And I think at the end of the day, both the NFL and college football will have done very well.
And I think gambling, wagering has changed a lot of things. If you've got money on a game, you're probably going to watch it. Now a lot of people have money on every game, and it's going to be a paradise for some to have the NFL and college football going head-to-head. But it'll be a partial schedule for the NFL. It'll be the most meaningful games for college football. And I just think games of consequence sometimes win out. And you're also talking about targeting to 2 different markets, the college football market and the pro football market. Chuck, geographically, I think are in different places.
Absolutely, no question. I also think, too, you have to think about people's viewing habits. Saturday is for college football. Sunday is for the National Football League. Viewers' habits are a lot more difficult to change than it would seem like they should be.
Great point.
All right. Hey, if you need some help getting your business found online, email us. In addition to all this great sports radio content that we put together for you here on the radio, we also help businesses be found online. ESPN Arkansas is proud to be a part of the online world anymore, the digital world, from geo-targeted campaigns, search engine marketing, lead generation, social media management, website building and design. We can do all of that for you now. ESPN Arkansas is your digital marketing partner. Go to espnarkansasdigital.com, get your free digital marketing audit, and email us at sales@hitthatline.com.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
Nothing says summer fun like fishing with a Thill Bobber with the family. America's favorite floats by Thill are available in a variety of sizes and colors. These premium balsa wood floats are made by the thousands at Pradco in Fort Smith, Arkansas. They are great at detecting the slightest bites by fish and work great in tandem with crickets and redworms. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. America's favorite floats by Thill.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
That's the $1 million question.
This is the Morning Rush.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
When you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. But you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
What's new at Wheeler Power Sports? Short answer, a lot. All new Kawasaki Ninja 500, Z500, Eliminators, and Mule Pro Diesels. New Kawasaki Ridge side-by-side is now arriving. New Polaris Expeditions and Ranger XD 1500s. New Suzuki GSX 8R. New 2024 model Polaris Slingshots, including the Roush Edition, are now in stock. Check us out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see us at downtown Fort Smith at 901 North 11th Street. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drugstore has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drugstore can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
The name Neumeier means something in the River Valley. Rib Room and Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. But have you been to their new establishment, the Whippoorwill? Unbelievable Southern food right across the street from Papa's. Southern cooking at its finest, like burgers, chicken fried steak, Mimi's meatloaf, fried green tomatoes, and more. Go to whippoorwillrestaurant.com to check out their menu and daily specials. Neumeier's Whippoorwill Restaurant, now a part of the Neumeier family.
Are you an angler having trouble finding Providing all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Wits Marine. On North 11th Street is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. Also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle. 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith. 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Wits Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunny skies. Our high temperatures this afternoon, mid-80s north, low 90s south. Mainly clear sky tonight, upper 50s north, mid-60s south. And then Friday, ample sunshine, our high in the middle to upper 80s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today. KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 84 days.
They got both kinds of music there.
Both kinds of music?
You haven't seen the Blues Brothers, have you?
I have not, no.
They got country and western.
I know John Belushi.
Go watch you some Blues Brothers. You've not seen the Blues Brothers?
I know John Belushi's one of the actors, the late John Belushi. That's it.
Who's the other one?
The other guy's probably passed away too.
No, Dan Aykroyd.
Is he alive?
Yes, as far as I know. Unless you just killed him off.
Hopefully not.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studio. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text The Morning Rush on the McClarty Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
It's
And we welcome you back to hour number 2 of the Morning Rush on a Too Stupid Thursday. Many of you probably think it's stupid that I have not seen the Blues Brothers just yet, as Tommy did.
It's not intelligent. I'll say that.
Some work to do. I'm a work in progress, as we know.
He was asking about Dan Aykroyd because we were struggling to place him there a little bit. I said, well, have you seen Ghostbusters? And that fell on deaf ears too, Chuck. So
I know both of those movies, just haven't.
Well,
seen
maybe you'll see the remake.
Remakes are terrible for the most part. If I'm going to watch something, it's going to be the original
with the Ghostbusters. But no, you got to watch the Blues Brothers. That's a piece of Americana right there.
Sounds like it. Again, that's one of the.
It'll be good show prep, man. You can steal line after line after line.
Yeah, like I did. We got both kinds of music. Country and western.
See, if I had watched it, I would have known, and I would have been able to go off of that. Instead, I just stood there with a blank stare, which
We're
happens
on a mission from God.
Yeah.
I do know that
We're going to educate you in the things that matter.
I do know that one at least. So plenty to educate here in hour number 2. Do want to mention as we get started, we were talking basketball last segment. DJ Wagner also officially signed yesterday. Cal announced that publicly. Richard Davenport actually had his initial announcement of him committing with Arkansas, official as of yesterday, that DJ is going to be an Arkansas Razorback.
Hey, first, a quick word for Farm Credit of Western Arkansas. They have 25 locations across our listing area, and their experts can guide you from start to finish when it comes to financing for a new home or remodeling your current home or building a brand new one. If that's what you're looking for, they make it easy. Just stop by one of those 25 locations of Farm Credit of Western Arkansas. They'll guide you from start to finish, or you can log on at myaglender.com. That's myaglender.com and see all the financing options that they offer. Farm Credit of Western Arkansas, making dreams come true for more than 100 years.
Also encouraged by Joe in Prairie Grove to watch Blazing Saddles. Now, I have seen Blazing Saddles, and that's fantastic.
That'll get you in trouble.
Yeah, you can't.
They could never make that movie in today's times.
You can't say many of the things that they say. And I have seen Monty Python, the Holy Grail, Joe. That is something that I did enjoy with Phil, is doing halftime homework, and I now have Morning Rush homework. School never ends, I guess. So I will be watching Blues Brothers and Ghost Brothers here in the near future.
Ghostbusters.
What did I say?
Ghostbusters. You said Ghost Brothers.
Oh, Ghostbusters. My apologies. Mentioned DJ Wagner's official. Also got to. Now I was surprised at this, but Hagen Smith is a finalist for the Golden Spikes Award.
Hello, it's Hagen.
Hagen, we also have some real exciting news to tell you in addition to what we were just talking about. You're going to be named one of the 3 finalists for the Golden Spikes Award this year.
Him, along with Charlie Condon, who just keeps hitting home runs. They're in Georgia this weekend for the Super Regional. And you've also got Travis Bazana for Oregon State. Guys, I frankly am surprised that Hagen made this list. Tommy, you made a good point, though. It's the regular season success that Arkansas had. When you parallel it to Florida, it's not really close. And I know Caglianone's been awesome for the Gators this year, but Hagen's is and Gators might disagree with this, has maybe meant more to Arkansas than even Caglione has to Florida.
Well, Chuck, I think the most dominant pitcher in college baseball has got to be included in the finalist award, and I think he's, despite the Arkansas season ending early, he's been exactly that.
I agree with that. To me, when I look at it, if Caglione was going to replace somebody in there, it'd be the kid from Oregon State. And at that point, all 3 finalists would be from the same conference. So,
that's a good point.
They had to have somebody from a different league in there.
Yeah. Hagen ends his season 9-2. Yeah, that's a great point. 161 strikeouts, and then in SEC play was 7-0 with a 1.35 ERA and 110 strikeouts. He was first in allowed per 9 innings, hits per allowed 9 innings, second in strikeouts, fourth in ERA, and had a great percentage. So they are going to announce this upcoming award on Saturday, June the 22nd, ahead of Game 1 of the College World Series. And it's a combination of national media, baseball personnel, USA Baseball staff, and I think there's some fan voting that goes through next Monday, or this upcoming Monday as well. So you can go on goldenspikesawards.com if you want to vote for Hagen to be Arkansas's potential 3rd Golden Spikes Award winner, guys.
Yeah, I was just looking real quick at the bracket, and Arkansas didn't play Tennessee, didn't play Georgia. So of the other 3 teams, I guess Hagen got a win. I'm just looking at the teams that are left. He got a win against Kentucky and a win against Florida. I believe a no decision against A&M, if I remember correctly. But if you're looking at just the teams left, and obviously the SEC is dominant when you look at the final 16 teams, that was kind of his record there. And I guess he would have the win against Oregon State. I'm just kind of looking through the list real quick. I may have missed somebody, but I think I got them all. Pretty dominant. Obviously, Kansas State's in there, and that didn't work out as well.
Did you guys see where Skeens pitched yesterday? And he threw 38 pitches in 5 innings. He threw 38 pitches over 99 miles per hour. It's the most pitches 99 plus in a big league game this year.
For a rookie.
Incredible. He's incredible.
Now, to bring us
Grant
home.
Cook's hand okay?
I was going to say, was Cook catching him last? Was Cook catching him last?
Grant Cook hadn't felt his left hand in like 3 years.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, because you made a great point earlier this week, Chuck, which I didn't know until you said it, that he's been his catcher in, I guess, was it the Indianapolis minor league team?
Got to keep the franchise happy, man. Yeah. I mean, if that's what keeps him in the big leagues,
well,
so be it.
Listen, Phil needs
if I was Grant, I'd just get a deal worked out with Paul that when that hand hurts, just have Paul's girlfriend come rub that hand a little bit, and I bet it'd feel better pretty quick.
Oh, so. Livy. Yeah, she's easy on the eyes. So on that point, if you're Grant Cook, like you're saying, I want to know how this relationship started, because obviously Skeens feels like good enough about him where he's basically like, I'm pitching to this guy. This is who I want. So maybe we get Grant on.
Call him up.
Yeah, after the season.
Call him up.
We figure that out, because I think that's a cool connection that, again, brings it back home to Arkansas. But, hey, just a reminder, Arkansas never lost to Paul Skeens last year. Played him twice. Did not lose either time, which is always just fun to say against maybe the best rookie in baseball right now. So, Pirates, and I saw your Cardinals, Chuck, aren't they kind of like?
Well, they're a little bit better. They were surging there for a little while.
Okay.
But they ran into the Phillies, who were really good, and then they lost 2 or 3 to the Astros. They won yesterday. They're a little bit sub 500. They got back to 500. But I think they're still a game or 2 below right now.
Apparently, we're getting text in from Ben and P. Ridge, Wyatt, and a few others that they're asking that I think that Grant Cook got DFA'd, which
did he?
Yeah, is what they're saying. I haven't confirmed that, but I think that's pretty crazy. Skeens struck out Ohtani apparently on 3 pitches of 100 miles an hour. That's wild. Who Shohei is one of the most exciting guys in baseball. I guess
Skeens is physically dominant. Smith is physically dominant too, but he's not physically imposing.
Mm-hmm.
Physically imposing might be the better way to put it. Skeens will scare the hell out of you out there.
That mustache,
and he just got that look about him. And this guy's got Hall of Fame written all over him.
Yeah. And it's pretty cool to again say that you got to compete against one of the rookies that is just dominating right now. And Phil Elson actually has something to look forward to with this Pirates, which he hasn't had in quite some time.
Until they trade him.
Yeah.
Or until he signs with somebody else.
Yeah. I know Phil is going to be back with Matt Jones and Colton Big C today, so I know he's excited to come back from a postseason baseball stoppage with his son. So he'll be back on halftime later on today. I guarantee Paul Skeens will be mentioned in the show. All right, we got our Morning Rush Daily Question. When we return, also get a chance to talk with Tom Murphy on the McClarty Daniel Hotline next.
Even though you try to be Ty, you just can't quite get.
Well, I just probably Ty, you can call even though
either. You're listening to the Morning Rush.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
This is the Morning Rush.
This is the game that they are saying national championship.
And we're floating in a sea of red.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westart Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westart Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Dallas Street Dental. Refuse to compromise when it comes to replacing missing teeth. Dr. Bill Ligon at Dallas Street Dental can make your smile look, feel, and function almost exactly the way it did before you lost any teeth. In some cases, even better. Dental implants function like your natural teeth and make it possible for you to enjoy those juicy steaks this grilling season. Look younger and smile with confidence with dental implants from Dallas Street Dental. Schedule your free implant consultation today at 479-452-6600.
Summer is finally here. Come check out Kofer's Boat Center's huge selection of boats with the best incentives in years. Kofer's experienced professionals will answer all your boating questions, and their award-winning customer service with Mercury, Malibu, Lowe, Camus, and Garmin will keep your boat in peak condition. Kofer's also has a fully stocked pro shop and updated RV and boat storage facilities. Find Kofer's online at Kofers.com. That's Kophers.com. Kofer's Boat Center, your authorized Mercury dealer, helping their customers create a lifetime of memories for over 50 years.
Hi, Jim Cash, fourth-generation jeweler and owner of the Diamond Center. I'm excited to announce our second annual Kiss and Tell event, and we would love to see you. I will be in store for 2 days, Friday and Saturday, June 7th and 8th, to negotiate every piece of jewelry. This event is special because this is the best pricing of the year and all still backed by our free lifetime warranty. Come and make me an offer during these 2 days only for our Kiss and Tell event here at the Diamond Center. Visit us before for more details. Again, those dates are Friday and Saturday, June 7th and 8th at the Diamond Center, a legacy of love.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote. Get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess. I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
So, we're looking for fun things to do this summer. Obviously, baseball season's been cut a little bit short. Our Morning Rush Daily Question, brought to you by Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, is some of the Arkansas, what I think are iconic landmarks. We mentioned some of these yesterday, Chuck, when you weren't with us, but like Whitaker's Point at Hogbill Crag, Mount Nebo, Mount Magazine. Where should we take the show? We're trying to formulate a list. We're looking for some fun things to do, some fun places to drag your old butt to this summer.
I like eating places.
Well, I can assure you, if Ty's going, we're going to be eating good. So
I'm not paying either. That'll be Tommy too. It'll be free, Chuck.
Well, some things never change. So where should we take the show at this summer, guys? We got to get out and do some things. I don't want cabin
fever. Go to OARC? Can we go? Can we go to the mountains? Can we get in from these places?
Very well. That's another. I would say 4 or 5 years ago, no.
Yeah.
But one of the byproducts of COVID, we got fiber internet everywhere now. They just got it hung up on a tree in a deer stand out there. We can just get on the internet.
Tyler in South Korea says we should go to Greer's Ferry Lake. Is it Janison's on the lake? I've been to Greer's Ferry a couple times. I don't know what Janison is. That a restaurant?
So one of my first thoughts, in addition to some of these great state park type places, is I want to go to the OARC General Store. That's not too far from your hometown, Chuck, and
no,
I have never been there. I've always heard about it's a must do stop. We ought to take the show one morning just for giggles up to the OARC General Store.
Saddle up, let's go.
All right,
I'll meet you there.
Here they got a great burger, but I've never had one from there.
Well, you were playing golf with BA in El Dorado this week, Tommy, and he suggests we come down to El Dorado to visit him a little bit, which I would be perfectly fine with. I've got one of my best friends lives down there, and I want to play Mystic Creek insanely bad, so I'm all in on that trip. All in.
It's all about you then.
Well, I mean, not necessarily, but if there's something I can get out of it, then we're going to go. One of the things I had down now, I've been. You said Murfreesboro earlier this week. I've done the
I've
diamond.
never been to the diamond.
I've done the diamond thing.
Diamond
It's pretty cool. I'm terrified of snakes, so the rattler mascot always kind of scares me when I see it on signs and stuff. Mine was another place I've been that I hadn't been in years is Blanchard Springs Caverns on 56.
There.
Yeah. It's been probably 20 years since I've been there. And
every kid in Arkansas has been to Blanchard Springs at some point in their life.
It's so cool. So
I hadn't been until about 5 years ago.
Really?
We went. Yeah, I'd never been, but we went.
What kind of home were you raised in?
Well, we didn't go to Blanchard Springs apparently, but we went. It's about an hour from my place at the river. Both you guys have been there, and it may be under an hour, but that is particularly when it's hot. Man, you get on that elevator and go down however many hundred of feet that is. It's a lot cooler down there. It's a good daytime, summertime deal.
Now, do you guys know the difference between stalagmites and stalactites? Y'all remember that from elementary and middle school back in the day?
I'm just shocked you
Wasn't there a little song? Wasn't there a little song about that? Can you sing it?
I can't sing it. I know there was a song because we probably sang the same song 40 years later that y'all did, Chuck. But yeah, they did the jingle or whatever. But it was I think it, again, I haven't thought about this in literally 20 years, but I think if I remember correctly, the M goes above the T. So I think it was I said it right the first time. Stalagmites on top and stalactites on bottom because MT. I think that's how I did in my head 20 years ago back in the day, but of course 20 years later it could be wrong. Oh. That was the in Blanchard Springs. So I think we have internet capabilities there somehow, Tommy.
It's been a long time. It's probably been literally 50 years since I was at Blanchard Springs.
It's a neat place.
We can go back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they've
Set
got
it up. I'm in.
All right, let's go. 56, I believe, is the nearest kind of landmark town, if you will. Sign you'll pass near Blanchard Springs. So
yeah, there's
we stopped somewhere there we were recommended to stop at one of the convenience stores and get a burger afterwards, and it's pretty good.
Jason,
what if we go to Greer's Ferry Lake?
Okay.
Get a boat.
Okay.
Get a boat. Do the show out on the water. I've done a show on the water before. I've done a show from the ocean. I've done a show from the lake, and it's kind of fun.
He sold me. That's a Tommy thing.
I'm not arguing.
Easy. In. All right. We got it set.
I can make Norfolk happen like tomorrow.
Okay. Well, what are we doing?
All right. Let's go.
It's better than being in the studio.
I even know a place we can stay.
It's better than being in the studio. We might as well with no baseball, and we got plenty of football to talk about. But when the baseball team loses a little earlier than anticipated, it kind of opens up their schedule to explore the state. So plenty of responses. And if you want to tell Tommy, send him just an absurd amount of emails of requests of where you want us to be.
All right.
Don't cloud his inbox as much as humanly possible. So we'll have plenty of options to go this summer.
All right, that's your Morning Rush Daily Question. Is brought to you by Red River Dodge in Heber Springs. They are Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Now, let's talk to Tom Murphy on the Morning Rush.
Tom's a nature guy, so he's probably been a place or two that we've mentioned there. Tom, is there a place in Arkansas that maybe you love exploring or going to when your schedule lines up a little bit?
Morning, guys. Man, I've done so many hikes around here. I can't even name them all. I mean, Blowing Springs up around Bella Vista. I think that's the name of it. Devil's Den a bunch of times. So many hikes around here. But I'm sorry about Tuesday. I was up. We were doing the Johnson Shut-Ins and Elephant Rocks up in Missouri. My daughter lives there, so she invited us up. And we were going to do this whether the Razorbacks made the Supers or didn't make the Supers. And I would have been back in time to cover, but we had a good time.
Oh, I'm glad you did, man. So let's talk about this baseball team, kind of what happened this weekend, since we didn't get a chance to catch up with you on Tuesday. Tom, when you look at kind of how things played out down the stretch, pitching, I know Hagen Smith didn't end it great. What was your maybe biggest takeaway for how they ended the regular and postseason?
What I always find interesting is Dave Van Horn just kind of lays it out there. And what he said was that we started showing cracks in our pitching, which meant the weeks where Tigert and Molina weren't going as deep, and then Tigert must have been talking about an issue with his shoulder, and so he'd go out there and pitch, but maybe he wasn't feeling exactly right, and they couldn't find anything that was structurally wrong, but he kept doing that, and you could tell that frustrated Dave a little bit. And so they go up to the Kentucky series, and that happens, and then the Mississippi State series here, which they won. And when they won that series, it made me think, okay, they're not doing great. The clutch hitting's not in shape, but they can get through a regional. And then they went to A&M and same thing, and then the Hoover, they hit a little bit more, but the pitching was sketchy. But then I still thought Kansas State, they didn't look like a particularly dangerous 3 seed, and Louisiana Tech just doesn't have the experience in these types of things. I didn't think they were a super dangerous 2 seed. And then it just all those elements cropped up. They score a bunch of runs to beat SEMO in the opener, but the pitching in game 2 wasn't. Hagen completely out of character, 5th inning for him, which was just unreal. The way everything kind of stacked up, walk, and both of them on 3-2 counts, and then, flare hit, bounce over the first baseman's head, and then a 3-run homer. And that's the kind of thing Arkansas had not been doing to people very much down the stretch. And then, of course, Simo was hot at the very end and just didn't score a bunch of runs. So all the worries, all the concerns that had been building up, just all kind of magnified right here in this regional, and led to the loss.
Yeah. Tom, we've had text and maybe a handful of calls from what I think is the fringe part of the audience. Some calling for not necessarily a change with Dave, but a change in the assistant staff. I don't get the sense or the feel that there's anything on that horizon. I mean, I don't hear anyone around the program or really anyone that would have maybe a say in the matter really speaking this way. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm with you. I'm not getting the sense that anything would happen. I mean, unless a job came open somewhere and Matt Hobbs or Nate Thompson couldn't turn it down, or even Bobby Wernis, that was a pay raise or just a head coaching position somewhere. And Nate Thompson certainly has had some offers, but I don't think anything's going to happen there. Obviously, the pitching side was a lot better this year than the hitting, and Andrew Hutchinson didn't ask directly, will you make a change at pitching coach? I think he said, would you consider a change of philosophy? And Dave Van Horn ran with that in terms of that Nate Thompson's always studying video, always like coming up with the analytic ways to look at people's swings. And I saw stats that Arkansas had one of the best line drive rates in the country, if not the best line drive rate in the country. And line drive rates usually tend to good hitting teams that find gaps and all that kind of stuff. So maybe this was just a strange year with the analytics. And then he transitioned that into say, we need more athletic players and, guys that can hit and run, and jump and all those kinds of things. And so, and how they've been hit by the draft with their signees. So it's always a delicate mix in the level of draftee or the level of signee that you have, and what they're what they expect if they're going to be drafted and signed, and then the ones that you feel like you can keep, and the ones that you're going to have to battle, not to lose, and they've lost some of those. So look, Arkansas is ranked in the top 5 all year long. They got cold at the wrong time of year this year, and obviously it hit them last year with TCU coming in here. But the program, I don't know if anybody in the country would, very few teams in the country would change places with the type of success Arkansas has had over the last half decade or 6-7 years. It just hasn't resulted in a national championship. And, Mississippi State, yeah, they won one. Ole Miss, they won one, and then they fell off. And so Arkansas has stayed on, and you just wish they'd won in 18, and this would be a lot more tolerable what's happening.
Tom Murphy with us here on the McCarty Daniel Hotline with Whole Hog Sports, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Tom, to shift gears to basketball, Trevon Brazil announces he's coming back. I think some, like myself, were surprised in the news. What could you envision Trevon Brazil being for this basketball team this year?
Yeah, it was a surprise. And I think, based on what we've seen with the roster composition, that Brazil could stay out on the perimeter more than he did. I mean, they needed him to rebound more with last year's team. And I think after the knee tweak, he was a little bit tentative about just getting in there and taking a lot of banging and landing on people's feet and the kind of things that can happen. And so his game, he's got a perimeter shot. He can drive. He can rebound. And if he's feeling better about his knee, he's got kind of that all-around deal. And with his length, he can be a good defender. So this is a big pickup for the Razorbacks. I think he wants to have a much better year to lead into a potential draft situation after what happened to him. So maybe if they could get a super healthy year out of Brazil, he would be a fine piece for this roster.
And DJ Wagner gets announced yesterday officially. Cal said 8 or 9 several times. He said it during, I believe, the first time they talked with us at the local media session, the big time, and then also recently in Sandestin. You think he's truly done with this roster, or is there a chance he might add one more guy?
Well, why wouldn't he add one more guy if he's a super good piece? I mean, I think we could all look back on last year and think that maybe there was more guys who felt like they needed to be playing than what Eric Musselman would have preferred. And so that's why you saw the vast, times where they're on the bench, where they're coming off the bench, or they're not playing very much between guys like Battle and Davenport, and really a bunch of different guys, Mekhi Mitchell even. And so I think Cal, you get the sense that he'd prefer to have that nucleus 9, and if it goes up to 10, well, go out there and earn your playing time, guys. So he may be on the brink of saying we're good and maybe just take a few guys who know they're not going to play a lot, or try to get one more big-time guy in. I mean, you wouldn't turn that down. There's no sense in, if a guy wants to come here and you recruit him hard, why you would not let them be here and compete for a spot in the top 10 or 11 on your team.
Yeah. Tom, let's switch sports, but talk about new personnel. There was an FCS All-American kicker, Kyle Ramsey, came from Abilene Christian, that's joined the Arkansas football team. Tell us what you know about this new addition for Sam Pittman and his special teams.
Well, don't know a ton yet, but based on the kicking in the wind, because, I thought Shipley, the kid from Hawaii, I mean, he's got a great career as a clutch kicker. And when it wasn't windy, he kicked pretty well. But, man, when they got in that wind tunnel at the stadium, you saw some of those kicks going all over. And Vito Cavaruso, great leg, but the same thing with him. And so, hey, get in there and compete. If you can get a guy who's 75 to 80%, who's going to make up to 52, 53, you're in good shape. And I don't know if they felt they had that, even though Shipley's, previous career shows he can do it. So we'll see. I'm sure it's going to be a competition in fall, and whoever comes out of the most consistent is probably going to be the guy who wins the job.
Yeah. Tom Murphy with us here on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. We're, quickly shifting into summer with it being June. I know this is going to be a busy month for camps, for the coaches. They'll hit a dead period at the end of the month, and then, before we turn around, Tom, we're going to have our eyes on an August camp, and, SEC Media Days, then an August camp.
Yeah, we will. And the calendar, as you guys know, has shrunk in recent years, and one thing leads to the next. And you've heard it from football coaches how they just didn't have much of a natural time to get time off. But June, there's a little bit of time in June. That's their time. Maybe in July. It revolves around pretty fast, y'all. And next time I speak, I would love to talk to you guys how I feel about what the Coastal Carolina coach said about NIL. It's incredible where we're headed. And Tommy, you and I basically predicted this 4 years ago, 5, when NIL was coming in, what it might turn into. And it has, maybe beyond their worst nightmares.
Tom, we'll leave it there, man. Appreciate you jumping in. Glad you had a good time on Tuesday. And we'll talk a little Super Regional College World Series and amongst hopefully some basketball news next week.
All right, I like it. See ya.
All right, Tom Murphy with us here on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. Time slow down, Chuck. I mean, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around that we're in the year 2024 and it's already June, but this calendar, it's more compact, as Tom was saying, than ever before. And, for us it seems that way. For the coaches, I'm sure it's magnified even more.
Yeah, it's all year round now. And, again, with the transfer portal, with the way it is now, and NIL and all kinds of stuff, it's a day-to-day deal. Even when you're off, you're not off. I mean, you may be with your family somewhere, but you're still on the job. If something happens with your football team or your basketball team, you may be there physically, but mentally you're back home. And I think that's one of the things with these guys and a lot of people that work in and around it is the mental break never goes away. Physically, you may be able to go somewhere for a little while, but mentally, you always have to be on point. Hey, I want to pause just for a second and talk to you about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. Our boy Ty's just bought a home, first time out of the gate. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, they've been there every step of the way. Ty, you'll need them again before it's all said and done. One of the things that I discovered, and I think you'll discover too, when you deal with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, is whether it's the first time to buy, whether it's the first time to sell, second, third time, no matter what your situation, you're going to find somebody on the other side or with you on your side of the table who's been there before. Someone who understands the real estate business, someone who does it every day, is not a side gig. Someone who can make sense of everything that's happening in the market, when it's time to buy, when it's time to sell. Sometimes that's part of the equation as well. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes it might be a good time for you to do that. They always know that. Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. And that was my experience, and I think it'll be your experience too. They're in northwest Arkansas. They're in Washington and Benton counties. They're in Fort Smith. They're in Branson. They've got a great selection of homes, and you'll see them all over town at WeicherGriffin.com.
Yeah, until you actually go through the process, you have no idea how complicated it is, and thank God that I had someone with that, because, Chuck, I'm going to be honest, I've heard you talk about it a year and a half, and sometimes you listen to someone, but you don't necessarily hear them, and then you're actually enter the process. And
Ty, explain an escrow account to us. Yeah.
I'm going to let Jeff do that. I'll let Jeff and Brandon can handle that.
When we talk about getting you from contract to close, that's what we mean right there. All those things that you didn't know about before.
Ty, how do you want the deed to read?
Surveys and all that other stuff. Just
exactly.
Tell me where
do I sign?
That's the thing.
What's my payment?
Jeff, just tell me where to sign. What am I paying each month? So that's the easiest way to look at it, hopefully. Guys, I want to take a break from sports for a sec. I had forgotten until I woke up this morning. I always just kind of get on Twitter to see what's going on, and maybe it's something I missed because I'm a early, bed person now, going to bed about 8:30. But D-Day was today, way back when. Stormed the beaches of Normandy in France, and big turning point of of the war. I loved during high school and to an extent college U.S. history. This is one of the most pivotal moments from our history, and maybe the greatest generation to ever do it. But I just wanted we've got a text or two on the McClarty Daniel hotline about that. So I think it'd be important. I know this is a sports show for the most part, but I think it's a cool factoid of sorts from this United States history to mention.
I was watching the news on Sunday morning, that CBS Sunday Morning News, whatever it is, that kind of a magazine show, and they were talking with one of the veterans that had been there. And, one of the things that struck me, that the millions that served in World War II, but there's less than 100,000 World War II vets still alive today. And my grandfather he wasn't at Normandy, but he was in World War II, and it was the greatest generation, but they're quickly fading on us, and they'd all be around 100 years old now, Chuck. But my grandfather never talked much about it. I think those are a lot of stories they didn't want to come back and really tell.
You're right, and if you're of a certain age and you're not as familiar with that generation as maybe some, Tom Brokaw's book, The Greatest Generation. I'm not going to tell you it's a literary masterpiece, but if you want to know about that generation, if you want to read stories about the people that really made our country what it is today, for better or worse, go back and read those. But they're moving.
They put the country back on its feet. We forget there was a
depression. They put the world back on its feet.
Right. Well, that's probably a better way to put it, but we were going through the Great Depression, then the war, and a lot of the economic challenges in this country that, happened in the 30s were still here when, they came back from war. And they went to work on the infrastructure, and I know there was some, talking about a lot of the WPA and all those type of projects and a lot of things that we see here in our own state, but it was that generation and their back-breaking labor and the infrastructure that was built that put our country economically back on solid footing, because even after the war, it wasn't great.
Nope, it was not. So just wanted to mention that this morning. Had a few texters about it. So way back when, again, one of the most important parts. And Chuck, I think you framed it best. It wasn't just in United States history, but world history for that matter.
Yeah. You think you got it tough. You go back and see the things those folks, not just in the war, but just everyday life here in America was it was a much different, much tougher place. Hey, one thing, if you want to turn the clock back a little bit, Gaston's White River Resort's a place you can do that. They've been there for 60 years. Talking about And going back generations, Gaston's has been around for more than 60 years. Right there on the banks of the White River, they've seen change over time. And, if you want to kind of turn the clock back and get back to where, things seem like yesterday, Gaston's is a great place to do that. 870-431-5202 is their number. They've got individual cabins and lodges, about 80 of them on property, to help you and your family relax and get away and spend that family time you so desperately need. 870-431-5202. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Just say, Alexa, play ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas from TuneIn.
This is former Arkansas Razorback, J.J. Metters, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
Summer camp, vacation, travel baseball, repeat. Family reunion, lake time, I'm beat. A parent in the summertime is a glorified chauffeur, but if you find yourself in a fender bender, you'll need a good lawyer. I'm Jackie Mock. With 12 years of experience in insurance and car wreck cases, I can help get you back on the road for more summer fun. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Now we will share a lifetime of the fondest memories.
Tommy Kraft here for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and control access for your business. Call the Fence Man and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
Arkansas, 80 yards.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, and we need your trade. This month, the trade-in acquisition event continues with up to 27% bonus cash on your trade on any one of our road-ready certified used cars with warranty. You can't buy a better used car, and you can't pick a better time than right now. Up to 27% bonus cash for your trade. Another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
What's on your to-do list today? Does it include looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? If so, come by and see us at Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Wacker Newson dealer. Whatever your day brings, whatever job it is you need to complete, Wacker Newson Equipment is up to the task, and Sharp Equipment is here to help. Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
Dive into summer with the Doughboy Pool Super Sale at Burton Pools and Spas. Say goodbye to crowded public pools. With a Doughboy Pool, the fun comes to you. Don't miss the hottest deals of the year. Doughboy above-ground pools up to $1,500 off. 18-foot steel wall pools only $75 a month. And semi-in-ground pools under $200 a month, plus a free robotic cleaner. Hurry into our Fort Smith, Springdale, or Greenland showroom to pick out your new pool today. At Burton Pools and Spas, we do more than build swimming pools. We build long-term relationships.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forsgren wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forsgren has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forsgren is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forsgren is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forsgren legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at goforsgren.com. That's goforsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
What's new at Wheeler Power Sports? Short answer, a lot. All new Kawasaki Ninja 500, Z500, Eliminators, and Mule Pro diesels. New Kawasaki Ridge side-by-side is now arriving. New Polaris Expeditions and Ranger XD 1500s. New Suzuki GSX 8R. New 2024 model Polaris Slingshots, including the Roush Edition, are now in stock. Check us out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see us at downtown Fort Smith at 901 North 11th Street. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967. Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Daniel Gafford has been terrific for the Dallas Mavericks so far this postseason. He has been a huge asset since they traded for him earlier on February the 8th, averaging a little over double-digit points, shooting 61%. Been a big part, not just on the offensive end, but defensive end. He talked about kind of his role on the Mavericks right now.
Come in, just have energy, set the tone defensively, and just finish everything around the basket whenever the guys threw the ball to you. Because those guys, they put a lot of trust in me when they throw me the ball. Always, every now and then, in a position to where I'm playmaking, trying to just find ways to just kind of like build my craft and just show the things that I can do just like on a play-by-play basis. So it's just, you know, it helps me just kind of like extend just like my career and just how I want to just be known as a player. I want to be known as a playmaker. I want to be known as a defensive anchor. I want to be known as a lot of things in this league. So at the end of the day, I just, you know, had to just kind of like be patient, let the game come to me. And that's exactly what happened for me.
That sounds like a guy that's excited for tonight, doesn't it, fellas?
I want to tell you what I hear there. A grown man. I interviewed Daniel many times. He didn't talk like that. He didn't speak like that. That's a confident man right there. And that's what I hear. I just hear grown up.
Yeah.
And somebody who's come into their own.
He looks physically, and Tommy, you reffed him in high school. You always reference, I mean, what he looked like a junior, senior in El Dorado, or what he's not just a grown man from a mental standpoint, Chuck, but physically, man, he is 7 years later, he looks vastly different.
Yeah, and you know, to piggyback on what Chuck was saying, because I was thinking the same thing. A lot of athletes, when a microphone's put in their face, don't always orate or tell the story of their thoughts or their perspective as well as Daniel just did there at 25 years old. And that's what I heard was, hey, here's an athlete I actually want to hear more from because, you know, the confidence in his voice and the way he represented himself I thought was above average there.
You know, people ask me a lot about remembering games and moments and things like that. That is not what I remember. What I remember are what these kids are like when they're here and then what they're like later. To me, that's the best part of the whole job is to watch a kid like Daniel Gafford and remember what it was like then and listen to him now. It's remarkable. And one of the things we take for granted as fans sometimes is we get to witness that. We kind of watch these kids grow up before our eyes. I think about Bobby Portis. You know, and kids that, I mean, when we talk about their dreams coming true, I don't know that we really understand exactly what that phrase fully means. But you think about Daniel Gafford, and I know some about his background, and the people from El Dorado and that part of our state do too. And, man, you want to talk about a kid whose dreams have come true and whose life has changed and his family's life has changed. And just to hear him talk and to see him play, I couldn't be happier for Daniel Gafford. And I'm glad he's playing for the Dallas Mavericks, and he's the reason I'm pulling for him.
Just a kid from Hagen Hill, as he referred to himself, talking with Kenny, Chuck, and those guys on NBA tonight. So, yeah, I'm with you. Even though they beat the Thunder, I'm still going for the Dallas Mavericks moving forward. And you think about that matchup. So I would say that from Boston's got the wings. Dallas has got the guards. Dallas probably has the big men with him and Lively. And that's the X factor in this series. If they can beat up on Horford, Porzingis is coming back, Cornette, whoever else they throw in there. I think Gafford and Lively have the advantage the next 7 games if it goes to that.
They got Luka, baby. They got Luka, and they got Kyrie. And that's what I think will win them the series, although Boston may win Game 1.
Ultimately, might end up being in favor of the Dallas Mavericks. All right, Still basketball-wise, we'll go back to what's going on here in Fayetteville. Trevon Brazil announced he's coming back. We know that. Some other news concerning your basketball program. We hadn't mentioned this yet. Guys, it sounds like, according to Rocco Miller, who covers college basketball, Oakland is coming to Bud Walton Arena on December the 30th. Yeah. Greg Campy. Now, this was talked about pre-Oakland, Kentucky. Campy and Cal apparently have been friends for a number of years. Definitely different resumes. Campy's been in Oakland since '84, which is just wild to me. Now, Arkansas's played Oakland before. The last time, I think, in 2011. But even after last season, it sounds like Cal wants another crack at this guy.
And that is Oakland, Michigan, for those who don't those who don't know. Yeah, they're coming. It'll be fun. It'll be fun for fans, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of recollection about what happened before. And I'll bet you John Calipari wants to beat him too.
Yeah. I bet so. He likes to joke about when him and Nolan played back in the day, and
he always reminds you who won.
Or when Arkansas played.
Hey, I know lots of coaches that do that.
Well, and this is a chance for him to redeem a loss on his record. So
exactly.
Don't think there isn't a little motivation in scheduling that for that reason.
Also, Chuck, we didn't ask you, December the 10th, according to Jeff Goodman, we're going to talk to one of his coworkers, John Fanta, coming up in about 10 minutes, Field of 68. Apparently, the NYC game against Michigan is going to be on December the 10th in Madison Square Garden. So, which is, again, right before Christmas time. Tommy, I kind of agree with your thoughts yesterday. That might be a pre-Christmas trip for some people.
Now, if they set that for sure, I've seen 10th, 11th, 12th. I've seen all kinds of stuff.
Goodman.
The 10th is a Sunday, right?
It's a Tuesday.
The 11th, Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, Goodman is reporting that. It doesn't mean it's factual, but Goodman.
I know.
Goodman's reporting the 10th, which is a Tuesday. Now, my birthday happens to be the next day, turning the big 3-0. You would think that a commendable boss like Tommy Kraft.
You'd think they think about that when it comes to scheduling as well.
Yeah, well, I'm curious to see what ends up being official.
I'll text you some photos from Rockefeller Plaza of me and Chuck when we go. So.
That's just mean-spirited on your part.
Well, you tell Mrs. Kraft we're not going then. You tell Laura we're not going.
I'll stay away from that. All right, that is your Hog Update this morning, brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8
Yeah, I don't think I want to have that conversation, Tommy. That's part of being a husband. You have to tell the good and bad news, right?
Yeah, it's exactly part of it.
She's going. She's going.
We're going to New York City. That's already been decided, I think. Hey, I was looking here on the Bet Saracen app. You was talking about Daniel Gafford in the game tonight's 5.5 point line. Mavericks are catching 5.5. Boston's minus 240 on the money line. But there's several. If you like player props, and I know we like to discuss them. There's several involving Daniel, not with scoring, but with blocks, and they're paired with other player props that you can find on the Bet Saracen app. So there's a plethora of them. But with Daniel, they've got several defensive prop bets, Ty, that you can check out.
Hit
at the
the
Bet
over.
Saracen app.
Hit the over.
Blocks.
Parallel.
There's a couple. There's one at 1.5. There's another one at 2.5. So, and then there's first quarter. I mean, there is a plethora of opportunity for you out there that you can check out. Bet Saracen app, tons of action for tonight's NBA Finals Game 1.
So you got that tonight. You've got the Women's College Softball World Series Game 2 between Texas and Oklahoma. And then you've got the Super Regional starting tomorrow to look forward to this weekend. We've got a conversation to look forward to. John Fanta, Field of 68, good college basketball analyst. He'll give us some thoughts on John Calipari. Recently wrote an article on Cal and really the dynamic that he has at Arkansas right now. We'll talk with him next on the McClarty Dane Hotline. Stay with us. Hour 3 coming up.
Hey, Arkansas, are you feeling lucky? Because the Lotto jackpot is seriously over $2 million right now. A jackpot this high won't last long. And this one is only one in Arkansas. Some lucky player could be buying the winning ticket right now. Play twice a week for your chance at a life-changing jackpot. Tickets start at only $2. Don't miss Lotto, only in Arkansas. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Celebrate freedom in a new RV from Camping World in Van Buren, Arkansas. For a limited time, get into a new RV starting at just $104 per month and see America for less. As part of America's #1 RV network, we've got an RV for every lifestyle and a payment for every budget. Buy with confidence at Camping World, knowing every RV comes with a 3-year Good Sam Elite membership and access to our nationwide service network. Make sure your next summer adventure is the best one yet. Click, call, or visit Camping World in Van Buren today. Certain restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Summer camp, vacation, travel baseball, repeat. Family reunion, lake time, I'm beat. A parent in the summertime is a glorified chauffeur, but if you find yourself in a fender bender, you'll need a good lawyer. I'm Jackie Mock. With 12 years of experience in insurance and car wreck cases, I can help get you back on the road for more summer fun. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Now we will share a lifetime of the fondest memories.
This season, you choose the deal. Save like never before during New Holland's Ready to Roll sales event at WT Equipment. Save $2,300 cash back on compacts. Plus, get 0% for 72, a free loader, or $10,000 cash back. You choose. Get 0% financing plus free net wrap on select ground balers. Or choose to pocket over $10,000 in cash back. NCBA member? Great. Stack another $2,500 off a new round baler or disc vine. With work getting longer and budgets tighter, one choice is easy. Choose WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
This is the Morning Rush.
The paint store in Van Buren is still the place to go to when doing the job right really matters. Our unique line of Richard's paint products was chosen by me to perform for you. This is Sue, and my 35 years of experience ensures you get the right paint and the right color. That's important to you and me. Thank you for your support. Come see what I'm talking about. 1414 Fayetteville Road, the paint store, Van Buren.
Hog fans, this is Robert.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is Matt, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
The only Razorback store that is owned and operated locally by a family of U of A alumni.
And the Stadium Shop on Razorback is the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole.
That's right.
Hang on, what? Yeah, I said it's the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole.
And that's what I thought you said, Dad. Matt, don't egg him on. He's the reigning champion of his own conference.
Cool. Do I get a plaque or a trophy? Anyway, folks, we have the largest selection of all things Razorback.
We do have pretty much everything a Razorback fan could want, from bedroom, tailgating, living room, hats, you name it, we got it.
You can give us a call at 479 Stadium. That's 479-782-3486. Or come by and see us at 989 South Razorback Road in Fayetteville next to Baum Walker Stadium. Hey, Matt, you want to tell them about the interweb, Instagram, Facebook thing?
I think he means the website, which is shoponrazorback.com. That's shoponrazorback.com. And it's Facebook, Instagram, and X.
What about Twitter?
You mean Twitter, not Tweeter.
And it's called X. Wait, what? I'm so confused.
Yes, we know, dear.
Just remember, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, and we need your trade. This month, the trade-in acquisition event continues with up to 27% bonus cash on your trade on any one of our road-ready certified used cars with warranty. You can't buy a better used car, and you can't pick a better time than right now. Up to 27% bonus cash for your trade. Another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sports book in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today. And look for my Double R prop bet specials. I pick 'em, you win 'em.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. And you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco for hard work and the great outdoors.
With quality and price and comfort you like, and savings that you're looking for.
We've got the shoes and boots, steel toes too, outerwear and a whole lot more.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco
for hard work and the great outdoors.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunny skies. Our high temperatures this afternoon, mid-80s north, low 90s south. Mainly clear sky tonight, upper 50s north, mid-60s south. And then Friday, ample sunshine or high in the middle to upper 80s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today. KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 84 days. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
They got both kinds of music there.
Both kinds of music?
You haven't seen the Blues Brothers, have you?
I have not, no.
They got country and western.
I know John Belushi.
Go watch you some Blues Brothers. You've not seen the Blues Brothers?
I know John Belushi's one of the actors, the late John Belushi, that's it.
Who's the other one?
The other guy's probably passed away too.
No, Dan Aykroyd.
Is he alive?
Yes, as far as I know, unless you just killed him off.
Hopefully not.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to the Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studio. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McClarty Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
It's
It is hour number 3 of the Morning Rush on a Too Stupid Thursday. Now, unlike that conversation you just heard with Tommy and myself, which would be stupid, I wouldn't necessarily identify Scotty Sheffler as a stupid guy. I would often combine him with intelligence. I think he's a smart guy. But he did pronounce a city the other day that I thought was kind of odd. I don't know if I'd call it stupid, but I want to start there as we get going to hour 3 and then talk a little basketball, and the college football schedule is out for the playoff coming up this year.
Hey, we're brought to you by Uncorked this morning. There's nothing else like it, really, that I know of like Uncorked. It offers huge selection of curated wines and craft beers and your favorite cocktails, tons of unique cocktail opportunities. But they got this patio. Yesterday's weather was just unbelievable. To sit outside in the afternoon and really enjoy some patio weather. They got patio pours going on, so don't miss that along with their live music. Go to uncorkthefort.com. Make reservations for tonight or this weekend. Father's Day's coming up. A gift card from Uncorked would be wonderful for Dad, or take Dad to Uncorked for Father's Day as well. You can get those reservations again at uncorkthefort.com. Their menu is unbelievable, and got things that you'll not find anywhere else when it comes to the menu offerings that they have at Uncorked. One of my favorite things there, and you won't find this very often, is the fried deviled eggs, and it comes with a sriracha cream that's just outstanding. Try those out. They've got on the main entree side, if you will, the short ribs are really good. They've got a double bone pork chop that is incredible, and their shrimp and grits are out of this world. It's all at Uncorked, next to Sodi's on Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith. Make your reservations at one of my favorite places at uncorkthefort.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Mach 1 Financial. Mach 1 Financial Group, LLC is an SEC-registered investment advisor located in Bentonville, Arkansas. For full disclosures, visit mach1financial.com/disclosures.
So just to recap the basketball news this week, Trevon Brazil is coming back. DJ Wagner officially signs with Arkansas. Multiple reports out there when the actual game between Michigan's going to be in Madison Square Garden. You're going to be playing Oakland, it sounds like, in the January. I think the most important on that list is Trevon Brazil. And, guys, I forgot about this report that when Brazil initially entered the portal back following his Missouri time, Cal had contacted him. And they've had a relationship, I guess, since then. Evidently, it made enough. Tommy, I want to kind of go back to a point you made either yesterday or earlier this week. I think Trevon probably had to convince Cal that he was worth the investment of this roster because, like, if you're only going to have 9 guys, it's even a smaller room for error, in my opinion, to not hit on one of those guys. And evidently, whatever Trevon may or may not have said to Cal and his staff caused them to think, you know what, this is our final piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, I don't know this, but, this was the point I was making a couple of days ago is who recruited who here? And I think Trevon probably had to do more selling of himself, his attitude, what he'll bring to the table, effort level, the health of his knee, and that he is ready to go and participate, and how he can enhance the team and not be anything that would take away from what Cal's trying to put together with this roster. So, Chuck, I may be way off base, but I would imagine Trevon had to do some selling himself to get one of these spots.
Well, I think it's fair to assume they both probably had to figure out if it was the right fit. And, I don't I'm sure everybody tried to put their best foot forward. I think it'd be certainly fair to say that. I don't know who recruited whom. I have no idea on how all that worked. But I'm sure that everybody needed to make sure that, there was a fit and that things were going to be okay off the floor and on the floor.
Yeah, and I think we think about what we didn't see last year with Trevon, and I think one of the first things we got to think about is the health of that knee. I mean, he's obviously coming back because there's not a place in the NBA for him yet, and he wants there to be a place at some point, and maybe Arkansas is the place. But I think that knee and is it fully ready to go is something that can't be dismissed.
I can't identify with college Division I, Power 5 prospects or players often, but in this case, as someone that's torn his ACL, it takes you much longer than not just a year recovery time, but then that next year. It's a 2 or 3 year process in some cases. And I remember when I tore mine, I was terrified playing at the hyper, even kind of get back into it. It's just a feel. And then once he does that, because I don't expect him to take a step back from last season. And it's not like, he averaged, I think it was like 8-6, shooting like 48%. But it was also, I think there was pressure on him also to be the focal point of this offense this past year. And I know that Muss said several times the expectation of him being an all-SEC guy just didn't pan out. That's not the expectation for him this year, I don't think.
First off, he played on a team that wasn't very good. Second off, he played for a team that unraveled down the stretch. I think if you were around it every day, you could feel every thread as it unraveled, and the inevitability was very apparent, by the time we were at the end of January. And I think all those things combined for just a bad year. Mm-hmm. And I think Trevon Brazil, kind of like everybody else who was in the midst of that bad year, suffered as a result of that. I'm sure he's got a new lease on life. There are lots of people at Bud Walton Arena that have new leases on life right now. And that goes to fit. Now, whether or not that was the deciding factor, I doubt it. But I'm sure Trevon Brazil feels like he's got something to prove. And again, I think there are lots of people in that arena right now that feel like they've got something to prove, and I think that's great.
And the head coach.
Starting with the head coach.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's my point.
Being the most notable of it. I do find it, and Tommy, you're right on the idea that we shouldn't always listen to national people or what they think, but I just think it's hysterical how some of these national radio hosts or TV people that like don't know the history of Arkansas basketball think that Cal, just because they didn't have a good season last year, is going to a wasteland. And we know that to be false.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah.
Let them think that.
Yeah. But I do. So when we look at the composition of the roster, you got 3 freshmen, right? 3, 4, 5-star freshmen, depending on what service you follow. You got 2 transfers in John L. Davis and Jonas Adu. You've got 3 Kentucky guys, and then you've got 1 Arkansas guy. I didn't think an Arkansas guy would come back. We have it. And you look at kind of the positions. You got 3 ball handlers. You got Boogie Flan, Wagner, and John L. Then you've got 3 kind of wings in Thiero, Richmond, and Knox, and then 3 4-5s kind of with Big Z, Brazil, and Adu. That's a decent mix. It's not like oversaturated, overpopular in one another. He kind of set it up where it's 3-3-3 basically.
You've got the pieces to the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got to put it together. Now you've got to figure out how everything fits. We know who the guys are going to be. Save for the walk-ons, we're not going to see them play in the games much anyway. We know what the pieces are now. And now the process of building a team begins. And that includes on the floor, off the floor, 24/7. You're building a team. And that process will continue right up until the season tips off and on through the season. So to me, the most encouraging part of all this now is that there is, and I've got to believe that, this played a role in maybe Trevon's thoughts too. There feels like there's some stability. There feels like, to me anyway, that these guys as a staff, as a program, they're getting their feet underneath them, so to speak. They know who their players are. They know what the schedule essentially is going to be. We don't know it all yet, but according to Coach Cal, they've got a pretty good idea of what he said down in Florida. So it just feels like now that with every day that passes, it's becoming more and more his program, and we see his stamp. And I think that's part of the process, and it's happening very quickly.
Yeah. Tommy, you brought up the aspect of something to prove, and you mentioned maybe the head coach is the most to know. I would agree on that because, and I don't know how Cal's going to approach this relative to how Eric Musselman did. Muss would use it publicly and mention it publicly. Cal may be more of a private guy when it comes to that. But even at 65 years old, you still have things you want to do and want to improve. And we've talked about how it ended at Kentucky, and he's spoken openly. Maybe I should have taken the UCLA job earlier than I should have. But you can just tell based on some of the reaction that people are not all 100% sold on this thing working in Fayetteville.
Do what now? Some people are what?
Are not. I'm not talking about fans. Outsiders looking at it with Cal and Fayetteville are not sold that this is 100% going to pan out.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't even pay attention to that. I mean, who cares?
Yeah. So, you talk about things to prove. I mean, let's just go back to Trevon Brazil for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a guy that clearly went off to find out what his NBA status was, went to the combine, and didn't get the answers he was looking for. He's back here with something to prove. I think, he probably had a few other options on the table. I don't know that. That's a guess on my part, but I think I'd be safe in guessing that. But I think the thing with Trevon in Arkansas is you just think about the roster construction and the competition in practice, and getting better requires you to be around better players, and he's going to have a chance to do that day in, day out. Beginning one of those summer or preseason practices begin, Chuck. I know they get a number of them, and I think it's somewhere in August that they'll have some workouts. Iron sharpens iron, to borrow the cliche, but I think that the thing with Trevon, he's around the right organization, the right coaches, and the right competition. If he's going to get to the NBA, I like his odds just because of who he'll be practicing against, more so than who he'll play against.
He'll get better every day in practice. Now, he's still got to do it himself if he's going to get to the NBA. But and he's got a long way to go, just like all of them do. All of them have a much longer trek than they think. But he's got that possibility, and absolutely he'll get better for it, no doubt about it.
Yeah. My point was, you could go off somewhere and be a starter, maybe be the star of the team. But being at Arkansas, maybe trying to fight your way into that 7 or 8 man rotation here would serve you better than being the centerpiece of a team somewhere else.
Well, we don't know yet how good he is because he's just not been available enough yet. I don't think Trevon knows how good he can be yet. I think we're about to find out. And I suspect he's going to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And you made a point. So let's go back. Let's look at the 2 years real quick. And John Fanta is about to join us on the McCarty Daniel hotline. I think when you look at, think about 2 years ago when he's playing with quality players, AB, Jordan Walsh, Nick Schmidt. Like, think about what he did in Maui, what you talked about earlier, Tommy. And then last year when he's playing with lesser talent and a team that was disorganized and disarray, even when he came back from injury, just wasn't going to work. There's a stark difference between the two. And I know the competition might have been a little harder in SEC play. I tend to think that he's also going to be better, just as you said, play with the competition based on what I've seen with my own eyes the last 2 years. When he played with better competition on his own team, we saw his capability. We saw what he could be. Last year, not so much. And coming off that ACL didn't help anything either.
Well, again, I'll go back to what I said earlier. He just played on a team that wasn't very good and a team that unraveled down the stretch. And I wouldn't put too much stock in a kid's performance necessarily in a situation like that. That is part of the aspect. Again, I'm sure he's got something to prove. But it got bad, toward the end of last year. And I think that he, like a lot of those guys, suffered from that. And I would expect Trevon to be a much, much different player when, they're out on the floor, whenever that is. I'm sure they're doing as much as they're allowed to do right now. Hey, this week on the Market Moment podcast, Matt, Lee, and Eli unpack whether the market's actually broadening out or if big tech's simply driving all the gains. They also discuss America's feelings on inflation and a possible recession and how the Fed is handling rate cuts. Nobody's got an opinion on that. You can check out their opinion on the latest episode of the Market Moment podcast by heading to market-moment.com. And I'll remind you, Mach 1 Financial Group, LLC, is an SEC-registered investment advisor. They are located in Rogers, Arkansas. And for full disclosures, you can visit mach1financial.com/disclosures.
All right, to the McCarty Daniel hotline we go. We got about 5 or 6 minutes with John Fanta, Field of 68, and Fox College basketball analyst. John, I'll start with just the roster, what you have in front of you. You've kind of looked at it, diagnosed it, recently wrote a story on Cal. What do you think of the makeup so far?
Hey, guys, good morning. It's great to be with you. Yeah, I like what we're seeing, and I think that John Calipari talking about how he wants to adapt is the thing that comes to mind most, because when he suffers that loss to Oakland in the NCAA tournament, he says in that moment, well, I don't know if I want to change, and I don't know if I want to do that. He was sort of back and forth at that point. But I think what you're looking at right now is you get Trevon Brazil back, who's a versatile piece and was coming off an injury from the previous season last year, and that's a guy who's a veteran and understands the program, and I think is going to be a key piece to this team. John L. Davis is as tough as they come. When Cal picked up John L. Davis, that immediately made me think, well, that Arkansas just got better significantly, because that's a guy who can average around 17, 18 points per game, is a tough, hard-nosed guard who knows what it takes to win at the highest level. Very good defensively. On the offensive end of the floor, it's hit so many big shots in his career. Jonas Adu, when you play at Tennessee, you're going to be tough. You're going to be hard-nosed. You're going to be physical. And that's a guy who's going to help them a lot in the front court. So I like what they did in the portal. I liked what he did in the portal. The key question is simple. How much of a leap are we going to see from DJ Wagner, from Big Z, Zvonimir Ivisic, and from Adutiro? Because if those guys are taking a leap under Cal, obviously they're following him. Is he able to get fully in touch with those guys' player development and get them to take that leap? And then, to that point, how will Boogie Fland and DJ Wagner and John L. Davis and company How will they all coexist? Because if you're going to look at this backcourt, you've got some big names. And Davis has been an alpha at FAU. Bland is this 5-star recruit who I've had a bunch on the circuit, fast, has burst, can score it. How do they all coexist?
John, you talking about the roster there, and you also mentioned kind of Oakland from the jump. What do you think about Cal reportedly adding that game with Greg Campy and the Razorbacks at the end of December? Seems like he wants to get him back for what happened this past NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think he does. And you know, wouldn't we all? I mean, you're motivated. You want to get back at somebody. I will also tell you guys, Campy's one of the good guys. You know, I thought he came off extremely well during the NCAA tournament. And, you know, he's got such a charm factor, such a great personality, but he's one of the good guys. You know, I could tell you that in my time covering the sport, you know, I don't know Greg well, but I can't tell you how many people have said to me, Greg Campy's such a great guy, he's such a great coach. And so I think if I'm Campy, obviously you take the game. It's terrific publicity. It only adds to the storyline. If I'm Cal, my competitive fever wants to play you again. You know, they lost some of their key pieces. Golke is no more. So I respect Cal for scheduling the game. I love that Campy, he never is afraid to take on a challenge. It's a home run, in my opinion. And if you're going to add a game of that nature, you want it to have some sort of publicity buzz. And that game will definitely have that.
John, real quick before we let you go, we got about 30 seconds. Your thoughts on Cal changing his philosophy to basically just recruiting 8 or 9 scholarship players as we end our conversation?
You know, so I do not mind it. I would add one more, but I'm okay with it. And I'm going to tell you why. Right now, some coaches are doing 11, 12 players. There's only one basketball guy. Your organizational culture, your locker room culture can get threatened by that. Because, again, there's only one ball. There's only one system. You can't run multiple things or too much when you've got a 40-minute game. So I'm okay with his approach because I do think I'd rather have 9 than have 12 and trying to figure out how I'm going to keep everybody happy, because guess what? You're not going to be able to in the latter.
John, we'll leave it there. Appreciate your time joining us, and we'll see what happens as we get closer to college basketball season coming up this October.
Happy to join you guys anytime. I appreciate you.
That is John Fanta of Field 68 and Fox Sports giving his latest thoughts on Cal. He's got a good article on Cal. Calls Cal the most compelling story in off-season basketball right now in college.
Yeah, and you know, as far as the end of this roster, we know what it's going to look like, as Cal's told us. You know, that it's going to be walk-ons that get the scholarship and, you know, not going to get the NIL money. So I think we know what's ahead as far as these final few spots. And John talks about there being just the one ball. They'll figure that part out. But I think we, as far as what's left to come, players 11, 12, 13, I think we know exactly
I
what
still
to
agree with John,
expect.
though, at the tail end. I think they should add one more guy. I'm a big add one center guy. I know Cal said 8 or 9. If you add one more player, I would be okay with that. All right, the big national college basketball story right now is the possibility of the Lakers hiring Dan Hurley. It's from ESPN, and we'll jump into that story when we return on the Morning Rush.
Just say, Alexa, play ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas from TuneIn.
This is Clint Sterner, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
This June, celebrate Dad with a gift of adventure at Wheels RV. We're rolling out Father's Day specials all month long. Treat your family to a summer they'll never forget. Camping has always been a perfect way to disconnect from the world and tune into family and friends. We make it easy with exclusive discounts and bonus offers on our entire inventory, including Brinkley, Grand Design, and Forest River. Let's make this Father's Day one he'll never forget. Visit us at Wheels RV and start your journey to endless summer memories.
Summer camp, vacation, travel baseball, repeat. Family reunion, lake time, I'm beat. A parent in the summertime is a glorified chauffeur, but if you find yourself in a fender bender, you'll need a good lawyer. I'm Jackie Mock. With 12 years of experience in insurance and car wreck cases, I can help get you back on the road for more summer fun. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Now we will share a lifetime of the fondest memories.
This season, you choose the deal. Save like never before during New Holland's Ready to Roll sales event at WT Equipment. Save $2,300 cash back on compacts. Plus, get 0% for 72, a free loader, or $10,000 cash back. You choose. Get 0% financing plus free net wrap on select brown balers. Or choose to pocket over $10,000 in cash back. NCBA member? Great. Stack another $2,500 off a new round baler or disc vine. With work getting longer and budgets tighter, one choice is easy. Choose WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
This is the Morning Rush.
Somebody get him a plane ticket for New York City.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
Hi, Jim Cash, fourth generation jeweler and owner of the Diamond Center. I'm excited to announce our second annual Kiss and Tell event, and we would love to see you. I will be in store for 2 days, Friday and Saturday, June 7th and 8th, to negotiate every piece of jewelry. This event is special because this is the best pricing of the year and all still backed by our free lifetime warranty. Come and make me an offer during these 2 days only for our Kiss and Tell event here at the Diamond Center. Visit us before for more details. Again, those dates are Friday and Saturday, June 7th and 8th at the Diamond Center, a legacy of love.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else. My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything, service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's. Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com. Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time
every time.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
There was no leadoff hitter on this team this year. All year long, it was who's going to hit leadoff. This team was filled with home run hitters. With one or two exceptions, every guy that came to the plate was thinking long ball. Power hitters generally have lower batting averages. I think that's why the team batting average was so low, is because they had a lineup of guys trying to hit home runs.
You know, that was a quick but good conversation that we just had with John Fanta, Field of 68 and Fox College basketball analyst. And there is something that he said in there that I think has gotten lost in the Cal conversation and really the players Cal's brought in conversation. We'll come back to that coming up in just a sec, Tommy.
Hey, every one of us here on the show loves a great round of golf. And if you live on a golf course or you live in a neighborhood where a golf cart could really make your off hours a better experience, let me tell you about my friends Chris and his crew over at Arkansas Golf and Power Sports. They're right here in Northwest Arkansas. They've got E-Z-Go. I went with an E-Z-Go cart recently, and one of the reasons why is it's American made. And for me, you don't have to have that with E-Z-Go. It doesn't have the parking brake. It automatically sets the parking brake. That was a game changer, or maybe a difference maker, I should say, for me. I know a lot of you live in neighborhoods where you have pools, you have tennis courts and other amenities in your neighborhood, and getting your kids to and from, particularly this time of the year, especially when you're at work and your teenage kids are at home, neighborhood golf carts are so popular and so easy and affordable. And you can find them at Arkansas Golf and Power Sports. Now, if you're like me and you want to fancy them up a little bit, they've got custom wheels and tires, and I did seats that have Razorback sewn into the headrest. You can do lights, and you can do speakers and audio and all sorts of stuff to make it personalized and customized for you. They got gas and electric models. Go with the lithium batteries. They got an 8-year warranty. And again, E-Z-Go carts made in America. 2 locations for Arkansas Golf and Power Sports. There's one in Little Rock, and there's one right here in Fayetteville. 2733 North McConnell, just off the Garland exit. Go the opposite way of Sam's. Whichever way you're coming from, you'll find them there right behind the rental store at 2733 North McConnell, and online at arpowersports.com.
All right, here's what John had to say about the particulars of the Kentucky players now at Arkansas.
Is simple. How much of a leap are we going to see, from DJ Wagner, from Big Z, Zvonimir Ivicic, and from Adutiro? Because if those guys are taking a leap under Cal, obviously they're following him. Is he able to get fully in touch with those guys' player development and get them to take that leap? And then, to that point, how will Boogie Fland and DJ Wagner and John L. Davis and company, how will they all coexist? Because if you're...
And that's, again, talked about the ball handlers at the tail end, but the important part of that clip was talking about 2 sophomores in DJ Wagner and Zvonimir Ivicic, and then Adu Tiero, who we just heard him speak to, who's going to be a junior. That has, I think, been kind of under the radar in terms of the impact that those guys could have, because they know what it's like to play under Cal. These freshmen, they may have heard from their dad, their uncle, their grandpa in some cases, like we know with some of these connections and the transfers, and Trevon, they may have heard from a secondhand. These guys know firsthand what it's like to play for John Calipari and practice for John Calipari.
Well, I think you're right, and I think that is a key point, because when you think about, and you touched on this a little bit earlier, Tommy, what they're going to be doing on the floor during the offseason. These are the guys that are going to know how it's done, and they're the ones that are going to kind of set the tone, if you want to use that term. At least I would imagine that they would. At the very least, they know what to expect, and they can tell everybody what it's going to be like.
It's the only continuity we have to talk about when it comes to this program is what happened at Kentucky last year and what we hope, is the building blocks for this year at Arkansas. Obviously, you hope for a better result than their season ended in the postseason, but there's no continuity. The only player we now have back is Trevon Brazil, and we're breaking that news, in the last 24, 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So the only continuity you can really sink your teeth into from year to year is what happened in Kentucky last year, and I think John's point is spot on. That's the maybe one of the most critical things about success in year one for John Calipari is those Kentucky players that have come here with him.
Well, that and the entire staff essentially, but the guys on the floor, there's no question that can DJ Wagner be better than he was a year ago? He was good. Can he be better?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of leaps Big Z gonna make? He was raw as raw could be, but boy, you saw a lot of ability. Thero, I mean, you look at the way he plays. He's been a good player. Can he become a great player? I don't know.
And I think it is important to point out, the Oakland, we know what happened with Golke and hitting 9 threes or whatever it was for Oakland against Kentucky. We know that Reed Shepherd and some of those other freshmen came up short. But they went 13-5 in conference, and they had 23-8. So, and they turned it on down the stretch, too. That's why they went on the road against Auburn. They won some games. But everyone just remembers that. They did have a successful regular season this last year. What Arkansas fans are hoping for is to not just have that, but also have some postseason success, which Cal has failed to do these last 5 years.
Well, but what they didn't have last year was a guy like John L. Davis. They didn't have that veteran presence. They didn't have that guy that Arkansas is going to have.
Yeah. Hey, before we go, quick word for our friends at WT Equipment. They've got a summer full of savings right now that includes 0% financing, bonus discounts, and huge cashback offers and free add-ons right now. Hey, this year you get to choose your deal. With New Holland tractors, equipment, and hay tools, get ready to roll into another season with WT Equipment and save big right now with everything they've got to offer and going on. Special financing, they've got New Holland net wrap equipment or pocket up $10,000 worth of savings with cash back. Two pretty great options that they've got that they'd love to show you about right now. Locations all over our state, and don't forget about the new industry-leading 2+3 warranty that comes standard on all roll belt models. So roll into WT Equipment. These offers end June the 30th at WT Equipment. Find a location at WTEquip.com.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
This is Tony Bua, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacale, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your #1 source for the NBA Finals and Stanley Cup playoffs this season. every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. And when the game's over, head on over to the online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of their over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online. The game starts here.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice.
Spikes Award, one of 2 SEC finalists, along with Georgia, I think, third baseman, Charlie Condon, who has just hit an absurd amount of home runs this year. No Jack Haglione on the list. Tommy, Chuck made a good point earlier. Golden Spike's probably one to have 3 SEC guys. I didn't think about that until he said it. And it's like, that makes sense. Even though Caglione, statistically, when you compare him to Paziano or whatever his name is from Oregon State, might have better stats. But that makes sense, that perspective of you don't want just 3 players from, even if it is the best conference in college baseball.
And you got to have the most dominant pitcher in all of baseball. I know how things ended and didn't go well against Kansas State.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at how dominant the season was for Hagen Smith. I don't know if he'll win the award in the end, but he's got to be a part of, particularly if Georgia continues on into the College World Series. But most dominant pitcher in the game, in the best leagues, got to be somewhere in this mix of final 3 players.
Plenty of SEC players in action tonight. P.J. Washington, former Kentucky Wildcat. Daniel Gafford, Jordan Walsh, former Arkansas Razorbacks, as the Boston Celtics host the Dallas Mavericks tonight, 7:30 on ABC. I tend to think Boston's going to take game one. I'm feeling, though, Dallas might take game two, and that's huge, Ben, heading back to American Airlines.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to watching that game tonight. I mean, I haven't been as hooked in as you guys have been all season and throughout the playoffs, but I'm all in on this tonight.
Daniel Gafford has been wonderful for the Dallas Mavericks this season, 61% shooting in the playoffs, which is awesome. Hopefully he continues on that stretch later on against Boston. All right, continuing on, the college football playoff has been announced. The 2024-2025 schedule starts Friday, December the 20th, and then you'll have 3 games on Saturday. So we've got some Friday night college football and Saturday too. When you think about the timeline from about December 20th to January 19th, it is through January 20th. It is football, and more football. I mean, between the NFL and college football, you are going to have not just football, but you'll have football games you actually want to watch because of the investment that's being made and the moving from the playoff from 4 teams to 12 teams.
Yeah, and I'm busy time of year. I'll be all in. I mean, not that I don't like what we have in the NFL and watch those, but those games just aren't as of much consequence. Now, questions also going to be in these early college football playoff games, and this will be our first time to see the way these are set up, home campuses. Are these going to be close games? They going to be blowouts? Will they hold the audience?
Good point.
Chuck brought up a good point earlier that, about the time these pro games will be ending, the college games will come on. There'll be some overlap, but, pro football is going to be big in the big cities. College football and its footprint's going to reign supreme. So I've got no real concerns that either one will be a failure on those days.
I want to mention this last thing before we end our SEC update. The Oklahoma Sooners softball team have a chance to win 4 straight national championships. They're taking on your favorite team, Texas Longhorns, later on tonight. Both teams will be in the SEC this upcoming season, and the additions of them in baseball, Texas more in basketball and then football for both squads. But the excitement level will be high when the team from Norman first comes to Bogle Park, I would think. But it is pretty remarkable. You think about some college dynasties over the years, like UConn women's basketball won 4 straight. The North Carolina women's soccer team won 9 straight. UCLA men's basketball team under John Wooden won 7 straight. They're kind of inching into that category, Tommy, of great teams, and they're a part of this conference as of July 1st.
Well, and it puts the rest of the league on notice, what they already knew. Those that follow softball already knew this, but this league just got infinitely more difficult with the addition of Oklahoma and Texas. We knew that already with Oklahoma. This is just more verification of what's to come, and it just makes Courtney Deifel and all of the other SEC coaches that have softball programs job a little bit harder.
Yep, and that is your SEC update this morning, brought to you by our friends at Burton Pools and Spas.
Yeah, dive into summer swimming in your own backyard with the Doughboy Above Ground Pool. They're on sale right now, $1,500 discounts. We're talking 18-foot pools. We're talking steel wall, high-quality construction, payments as low as $75 a month. How about semi-in-ground pools? They got $200 a month payments and big discounts right now, and they'll even throw in a free robotic cleaner when you buy at Burton Pools and Spas. Here's also some new news with Burton's. They've added a showroom in Greenland. You'll see if it's on the east side of 49, near the Greenland exit, just south of the Greenland exit, the showroom, and they got the fiberglass pool models that are sitting there on display. So you can't miss it. You see those pools, you'll find their building. It's kind of an A-frame design right behind it with Burton Pools and Spas, and they've got their grand opening going on right now. That's Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and Fort Smith, as they've been for 46 years, now in Greenland as well, and online at burtonpools.com.
So as we continue on here on a Too Stupid Thursday, Tommy, I think it's important to listen to Scotty Sheffler. Have you heard him pronounce Louisville yet?
Well, I know that there are 2 common pronunciations, but I haven't heard his attempt.
His is quite entertaining. Now, this is an intelligent guy. I listen to him talk. I'm like, all right, he's got that Highland Park background. This is not just some dumb jock, but listen to this.
I did not want to have to pursue legal action against Louisville because at the end of the day, the people of Louisville are then going to have to pay for the mistakes of their police department. That just doesn't seem right. And
maybe it's the pot calling the kettle black that I'm getting onto someone for pronunciation or missaying a word
ironic, yes.
here or there. But I don't think I've ever referred to Louisville as one way to pronounce it, or Louisville. Like
Louisville or Louisville?
Yeah.
I mean, Louisville. Now, the people from there call it Louisville.
Louisville.
So,
Yeah. I thought that was funny. I listened to that. I was like, there's no way he said that. Then he said it again and again.
Yeah.
And
maybe he's doing it. I think he's doing it on purpose.
You think so?
That's how it's pronounced.
Okay. Well, at the end of the day, it doesn't sound like any legal action is going to be taken. That's kind of what he said.
No, they dropped the charges
Yeah.
last week, or 10 days ago.
Did you watch that video?
Yeah, I mean, I think the prosecutor didn't want to wait off into there. Just overreaction by everybody involved, including the officers. So, I mean, in the end, that's exactly probably the right way to move forward with this.
Yep,
is to not move forward.
Is to not move forward on this. Hey, the big story that we've gotten this morning that was really before the show even started, and it's not often something breaks before we go on at 6 a.m., is the possibility of not Bobby, but Dan Hurley, the head coach of the UConn Huskies, being pursued by the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, when I say that, when I look at an ESPN report, and you said Woj, Adrian Wojnarowski is the one to report.
I heard
right?
it was breaking as we were coming on the air, and that's who I heard the national crew reference before we came on.
This is not a guy that puts out intel without pretty good sources. So if that is the case, that's wild to me, because it seemed like a lot of people were just assuming J.J. Redick, LeBron's podcast buddy, were going to get the job. But I thought Chuck was pretty honest earlier, and he was right. I mean, the Lakers is a job you don't pass up. I mean, you think about the legends that have been there, Pat Riley, Phil Jackson. They've had, and then you got a guy like Frank Vogel that wins a championship there. There's just like, when you go to Los Angeles, the pizzazz, the Forum back in the day with the late Jerry Buss. I mean, there's two franchises in the NBA that truly matter, like, to everyone, whether you hate them or love them. That's Boston and that's Los Angeles, and that is one of the meccas in the sport. And I mean, he is a Northeastern guy, and he's a college basketball coach. And he he's spoken openly, I've coached harder now in the NIL world than I ever have. You can't do that in the NBA. So I'm curious if he would adapt, how that would work at the professional level, and if it would be something that LeBron and some of the other guys, maybe Bronny Jr. and the other guys that are on the Lakers, if that's something that they could adapt to as well.
I think about the ripple it would set off in college basketball.
No question.
Potentially. If he leaves, and it's becoming a blue blood premier type job with the success they've had over the last 20, 25 years, would it upend or rock the apple cart where it'd have to be someone that wasn't recently hired, because the buyout would be too steep for, I think about Muss and Cal, because, they both have new jobs, but it'd have to be someone that didn't have a massive buyout to leave their job. But, a name coach, a brand name coach would be interested in that job. Would they leave it in the middle of the summer? That would really put your school in a bind if your coach walked in and quit. So they may have to go internal for this 1 year if it worked out. How do you say no to the Lakers? I don't know.
Yeah, it just depends on, like, he already got paid in the offseason, right? Are you going to get another raise out of this if you're Dan Hurley?
It's the Lakers.
Yeah.
It's the Lakers.
And this is going to sound really stupid, and maybe it is on a Too Stupid Thursday. I would stay in stores. I really would. And I'm not a college basketball coach, and I realize that is one of maybe the three best jobs in the country in basketball. Boston, L.A., and you could probably put Kansas or North Carolina on there, depending on where you say. Kentucky's probably top five, but maybe he's at a point where he's won 2 straight national championships, and he feels like, I might max out here. I know no college basketball team since UCLA has won 3 straight, Tommy, but
it's the Lakers.
Yeah, that's. I don't know.
And
that is the only argument. That is the only argument you need, I think, in this case. And I completely, wholeheartedly, when you say that, it's really all the ammo. It's really all the ammo Janine Buss needs. It's like, We're the Lakers. You want to be our coach or not?
You want to be our coach? Yeah, come on. The other thing in all of that is Storrs, Connecticut to L.A., bit of a culture shock as far as not only your job and the spotlight you'll be in, but where your family would be living. You know, there's that consideration. I mean, he can turn it down. He'll just never get offered an opportunity like that again. And let's face it, he can stay in Connecticut for a long, long time. And his job security there is as good as there is in basketball right now.
No question. No question.
So, I mean, he's got to, if it comes to that, he's got a big decision to make. What do you want to be doing?
I think the ripple effect of college basketball that you brought up is not being talked about enough because it's this late in the process, like you said, someone's going to get screwed.
And
they don't hire within.
John Calipari's talked about it in opportunities before that, hey, can you look those guys in the eye? I don't know the roster and who's coming back and who he's made promises to with the Huskies, but, I respect a coach that would value that when thinking about, do I want to make this move when I've committed to these players?
Yeah.
Hey, you've been through the portal at this point. You've constructed your roster for next year. You've made a commitment to these guys. But it's the Lakers.
They lost Klingon, they lost Claxton, they lost the kid that transferred from Rutgers. They lost like 4 or 5 guys. So I think
he's replaced those guys at this point.
Yeah.
Point. Those guys that are there now have what they feel like is a commitment from their coach.
That's going to do it for us here on a Too Stupid Thursday. Might have a special guest tomorrow at 8 a.m. Make sure you tune in.
At Our Best Bank, we believe in the power of community. That's why we recognize, serve, and support communities of all kinds. From small towns to big cities, business startups to large companies, young families.